Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
911, where's your emergency?
I can't find my daughter.
A parent's worst nightmare, their child missing.
We believe that she was taken from the park.
Gone for 4 years.
As time goes on, the investigation becomes more difficult.
I can't imagine what this mother's going through.
Now new details.
Knowing what we know, this investigation is very close.
Somebody knows something.
If you're asking me what I believe the child is alive somewhere.
Somebody knows something. Premieres Friday at 7 p.m. on NBC 10. Count on it.
Take advantage of Kitchen Magic's exclusive Labor Day offer today. For a limited time, take 40% off installation of your new dream kitchen. Plus, take advantage of 18 months interest-free financing. The fall and holidays are around the corner, so get ready to transform your kitchen now. Yes, that's right. Incredible 40% savings, plus easy, flexible payment options. Visit us at kitchenmagic.com. That's kitchenmagic.com today.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
joeconklin.com. Wrap up the regular season at CBP when the Phils welcome Pittsburgh to Philadelphia on September 26th and 27th, both at 6:40, and September 28th at 6:05. Order tickets now at phillies.com. It's all about the best fans in baseball when we celebrate Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday, September 24th at 1:05, when the Phils battle the New York Mets. Grab tickets now at phillies.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Thursday, September 14th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always free and live on the Odyssey app, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, K-A-Y-A-L. Don Stenslin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez. Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. No word on whether or not Danilo Cavalcante will suit up tonight in the Eagles' backfield because he's a pretty good runner.
Yeah.
But this is the first show in 14 days where we do not have to talk about him being on the loose, as that story broke yesterday midway through our show. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great this morning. Fired up for the Eagles tonight.
That is correct.
The Eagles!
Yes. Eagles by 7 or 8.
A lot of injuries, though.
Yeah, there are. Starting to pop up. Gregory, how are you?
Oh, yeah. Good. I'm good today, buddy. Thank you.
All right. We got some good stuff to get to on today's program. Media malpractice, the death of journalism. That'll be the feature of the big take. Also, Mitt Romney says bye-bye. We finally get our wish. No more dinosaurs or rhinosauruses. 76 years old. We've been talking about age a lot lately on the show. And one of Joe Biden's biggest supporters, one of his friendliest columnists of the Washington Post, has had enough. We'll get to that this morning. Also, we've got drama surrounding a few women in politics. AOC on the left. Lauren Boebert on the right. Apparently, she tried to pull the big-time card.
Oh, no.
It didn't go too well for her.
I'm telling you, you can't control these broads.
I know. Dawn, get your people in check. All right?
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
Even Don Lemon can't believe this.
She did the old, you know who I am.
Yeah.
Or do you know who I am?
I used to work in sports radio, and a guy tried to pull that card about a decade ago with a cab driver when he was drunk, and it didn't turn out too well.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. You can Google that story. So we got a lot of good stuff today. Loaded
Duck,
cut
go.
sheet. Duck, duck, go. That's correct. Absolutely. All right, 6:04. Let's get the news going around, number one. And for that, we go to the actual only journalist on the show. One person that still does journalism in this city, the great Dawn Stanzon.
Thanks, Nick. Good morning on this lovely Thursday, September 14th. 68 degrees. I'll tell you about the refreshing change in store weather-wise. A lot of sports news, but a lot of Philadelphia news as well. Let's take you to North Philadelphia, where police say they're investigating a shooting that injured a Pico worker, an employee working. This happened late last night, where gunfire erupted on North Marshall and York Streets just after 10 o'clock at night. Pico saying that its employee was repairing a crossarm in the area right when there was a stray bullet. So gunfire erupts. Pico had been called to the scene to restore power to the area and fix something there. And the worker was alert and conscious when those first responders arrived and rushed the worker to the hospital. So police investigating these reports that 3 victims were dropped off at Temple University Hospital, not so far away. So we don't have a whole lot of details. There's a report that another juvenile was struck as well. But this is a Pico employee.
Utility people getting shot.
Yeah.
I love how it was framed. They were dropped off. Hey, I got a drop-off coming by in about 10 minutes. Get ready. We got another one.
So we're looking at that one. But this investigation went, well into the evening, obviously. And I don't have the latest where the Pico employee's condition was stabilized. But certainly a jarring news to wake up to this morning to hear about this Pico employee.
It's literally like a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
You worry about going into war zones to get hit with stray bullets.
Right.
That's Philadelphia.
Like, who signs up for that when you sign up for a job and get hired at Pico?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
It really is.
Deserve war or hazard pay.
Hazard pay for
perhaps.
sure. Yes.
So speaking of, first responders, speaking of utility workers, and speaking of police recruitment in the city of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office yesterday afternoon asking a judge to revoke the bail of police officer Mark Dial. As you know, Officer Dial had been charged with first-degree murder last week, and this is a first. You rarely ever hear of this situation with an on-duty police officer charged with first-degree murder. This was after that fatal shooting of a motorist who refused to stop for police driving the wrong way. And by all accounts, a tragedy for the family of Eddie Irizarry, who has demanded answers and has a lot of questions for this. Former Officer Dial, who's in the process of being fired, as we know, 5-year veteran of the force, accused of first-degree murder, aggravated assault, and other related crimes after he shot and killed the 27-year-old man as he sat in his car. That was Kensington. That was August 14th. So in this one, Krasner says when defendants are charged with first-degree murder, they're held in jail without any possibility of bail. And the judge in the case, however, Judge Christian DeCicco, set Dial's bail at $500,000. And immediately the police union stepped in, posted the necessary 10%, $50,000, and Dial was released.
So we want to revoke the bail of an officer here.
Yes.
In a day and age where nobody has to post bail for going and committing crimes. Very interesting balance there. Sorry.
Well, to your point, it's only in those first-degree murder charges.
Right.
So, we've seen some quite famous cases where even there were 2 motorists. I'll just take you back. There were 2 motorists who were a young man on a bike and a motorist got into a traffic altercation. You may remember this a few years back, Rittenhouse Square. And the young man on the bike ended up stabbing in the back and killing the motorist.
Mm-hmm.
Krasner charged that individual, who then fled the scene, tried to get rid of the death weapon,
mm-hmm.
and ultimately charged that individual with third-degree murder charges. And that individual in that case actually got a very shortened sentence. The family of the man stabbed in the back
mm-hmm.
in a traffic dispute and killed.
Yep.
I'm just giving you an example. So there are ways that if you charge somebody with third-degree murder, they can get bail.
Correct.
But so there was an intention here to charge with first-degree murder.
Okay.
So that they didn't want him to get bail.
Okay.
And that's like another first in the layers of Larry Krasner.
Alrighty.
Yes, of course, more details of the situation of convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante, 34 years old. Obviously, we were live, we were local all day yesterday and carried that. What was that? About 8:15, Nick, and you said.
Yeah, it was right before Bruno.
Okay, so you say, I think Nick said, I think they got him because it was just going viral.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the start of all of the coverage that has made international news. The escaped killer, Cavalcante, taken into custody and was alive following that 14-day search, according to Pennsylvania State Police. So now it's being reported that once he was in custody and transported, he admitted that his plan was to use that 22-gauge rifle and carjack somebody and flee to Canada.
No, he fits right here in Philadelphia. He fits right in. He wants to do a carjacking.
So, and the other issue is that canine that ultimately, because he was trying to still get away, even though he was surrounded, the canine Yoda, who is this awesome canine who ultimately is credited with catching him.
He's a good boy. Oh, by the way, did you guys see this yesterday? So many people in the media having an issue and taking a gripe on social media with the photo op that all the officers took.
It was the first question the reporters asked because Dawn carried it live.
Yeah.
It was the first question the reporters asked yesterday.
Is that not protocol when they have these types of situations? Why were people so outraged over the fact that all the officers gathered around for like a team photo with the guy arrested?
Well, maybe because he was on the loose for 12 days. I don't know.
I mean, I would think, after 14 days and a lot of these officers probably working long hours, it's a proud moment for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like everybody was, and sports media people, some of them down the hall that will remain unnamed on this show because I don't want to, tick anybody off, but they're like, was the photo op really necessary? I'm like, just worry about the Eagles. They play tomorrow night. Stay out of it.
Well, and to your point, I loved when during the news conference, and thank you, Greg, stayed here and we carried that news conference. But Lieutenant Colonel Bivens, when he was asked, I thought handled it great and just said, no, I don't have a problem with it. They worked hard. They worked around the clock.
Yeah.
But there's also, I will say that there's a point where they're also documenting everything. And I know that people are saying, look, they're smiling. I guess somebody from another TV station took the picture. Whatever. They still did have to take pictures to document the tattoo, but also in this day and age that they're being sued. They're being, what if they go forth, I was abused by these individuals, so on and so forth. So you want to document as much as you can. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I stand by the fact they're allowed to take a photo.
I agree.
Privately, if I were, in the state police, I would say, guys, you got 5 choppers ahead. Let's not take a victory photo.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I don't really care. I do see where people can say that it looks a little.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It's it's like holding up a bear or a deer.
Yeah, when you go hunting.
Yeah,
you got your game.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is it the same? I guess it's the same thing. I don't know.
I don't know. We got to get some law enforcement people to ask us whether or not this is standard operating procedure in these types of drawn out manhunts. Did the state police do that with Eric Frine when they found him after 40 days? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think probably the difference is that there are drones and choppers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not they do this on a regular basis, we probably might not have known it.
Okay.
But I think in that moment, they're allowed to document its history, and it is evidence.
Yeah.
To just show everybody there, to show what they looked like.
Yeah.
To show how they're dressed, to capture the moment.
Yeah, to show. You said this earlier that he wasn't harmed.
Right. Well, he did have some blood on his forehead.
Wow, yeah.
I'm sure somebody will
From
say
the
that's
dog.
racism. That dog is racist.
The dog, Yoda.
I don't know. I can see both sides of it. I don't have a problem with it personally because I don't care. He's a cold-blooded killer who deserves to be 6 feet under. Honestly,
they didn't apprehend Mother Teresa.
But on the other hand, it's like congratulations, you did your job.
I just find it odd that when people comment on the subject as a whole, that's their first observation. Not Not thank you to the officers.
Right.
Not, oh, what a great dog that dog is.
Yeah.
Is the photos, what is this, a football team picture? Stop.
Well, and it shows you, to your very point, it shows you the mindset of, it's almost as if they're always looking for something.
Yep. Something to be offended by, which we'll get to in the big take.
Well, and something else to be offended by. Well, what happened last night in South Philadelphia, with the Braves clinching the NL East.
Yep.
In our house, Phillies losing.
I mean, it was going to happen anyway.
Honestly, it's a surprise, though. It took until September 14th.
Exactly.
Right? I would have thought they would have had that thing locked up in August.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I mean, Bryce Harper said the other night in his post interview that they're going to clinch one way or another. It's going to be here. It's going to be somewhere else. So, of course, they're going to celebrate when it's going to happen.
Sure.
So it just so happens that they did it in a very bad fashion in front of a Philadelphia audience who booed them.
Did they take a bunch of pictures together?
Well, Ronald Acuna Jr. Did the Hulk Hogan with his
I saw that,
with his hand to his ear.
Yeah,
because everybody was booing.
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. I wish we had him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So we lost 4-1 last night. It fills in St. Louis tomorrow, opening a series with the Cardinals and of course Eagles. Home opener against the Vikings tonight, 8:15 kickoff.
I heard a report that people are already down there tailgating.
So somebody from KYW just interviewed somebody at like 4:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
Guy's in the parking lot already. He's not going to make it to the game.
Oh, there's
He's
zero
gonna be
chance.
Passed out.
He'll be gassed by noon.
It's 8:15 tonight.
The
God bless him.
countdown.
God
I
bless him.
know. Oh, my goodness. And that brings us to the forecast, NBC 10 First Alert forecast. So what a gorgeous, refreshing change to the weather. Lower humidity, sunny skies with a high of 76 degrees for you Thursday, September 14th. And then tomorrow, much of the same, mostly sunny. Nice breeze, 75. Over the weekend, Saturday, high clouds mixing with the sun. It stays breezy with high pressure building in from the west. Hurricane Lee way offshore, but giving us some of that nice breeze. 77 degrees, and we pop back up to 80 for your Sunday. A nice sunny stretch, but beautiful weather today. That's the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. This is Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:16 on this Thursday morning. Let's get to another big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
The big take this morning, media malpractice. Journalism is all but dead, and the mainstream media is a disgrace. The point of the media and journalism used to be to gather facts, dig in, do their due diligence, and then report the truth to its audience at any and all costs. In 2023, and for many, many years now, the media has been bought and paid for and has become the lapdogs of presidential administrations, their advertisers, and they always have an agenda. And shame on media outlets and companies for allowing those that they cover to push them around, intimidate them, threaten to revoke their access, and bully them into presenting things with a narrative and a major slant. Just yesterday, Fox News reported that the White House had sent a letter to media executives urging outlets to ramp up scrutiny of the Republican-led impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. Essentially, the United States government is acting like China in trying to create a state-run media. And the timing of this is comical, considering last Friday, the Fifth Circuit Court ruled that this administration cannot do this to social media companies, which is what they did when they violated your First Amendment rights during the pandemic in regards to free speech. One of the biggest issues I have with today's media is that they are afraid of offending people. Whether you are a reporter and journalist or a commentator or a host, you're paid to give your opinion on a specific subject, story, or matter. You need to give your 100% honest opinion without fear of offending anybody. Jim Avila wrote a tremendous piece on BarrettNewsMedia.com, an industry publication for talk radio, about NBC's Chuck Todd, false equivalence, and I would add a compulsion not to offend, even when the audience is being offended by a guest who refuses to answer the question. Let me read you an excerpt of this column that I agree with 1,000%. Chuck Todd achieved his low bar for success. I wish he would have reached higher. While saying goodbye to Meet the Press after 9 years of Sundays this week, the moderator reveled in the fact that he had not killed the longest-running television program in history. saying that his goal was lasting long enough to pass the baton. He has presided over the slow decline of Meet the Press's ratings, which is now third in the Sunday morning race, averaging a mere 2.5 million viewers. And perhaps most importantly, Todd presided over the broadcast's quicker, more thorough decline in viewer respect. Todd became a punchline amongst political and media critics, even comedians. It was Trevor Noah, of all people, who mocked him to his face at the recent White House Correspondents' Dinner, otherwise known as the Nerd Prom, rhetorically asking Todd, who was in the audience, "How's it going, Chuck?" And then he joked, "I'd ask a follow-up, but Chuck doesn't know what that is," end quote. Todd's tenure at the helm symbolized what is wrong with today's journalism, from the New York Times to CNN to NBC. As the Columbia Journalism Review summed up in marking the passing of Chuck Todd, he represents both sidesism, false equivalence, and I would add a compulsion not to offend, even when the audience is being offended by a guest who refuses to answer the question being asked. Todd's chief competitors, George Stephanopoulos on ABC's This Week and CBS's Face the Nation, Margaret Brennan, are much more willing to keep asking an important question until it is actually answered. And perhaps the best lesson in what not to do versus what to do was displayed on his own sister network, MSNBC. The interview subject was the shiny new object of the political world, our buddy, Vivek Ramaswamy. And while Chuck Todd did his usual poor job of challenging the Republican primary candidate, his colleague on MSNBC, Mehdi Hasan, came prepared with a list of questions. We actually aired this for you on the cut sheet last week, and previous quotes by Ramaswamy, which served to impale the tech pro with his own tweets and sentences. That's the excerpt. And that is what I would say is being roasted. That personifies and explains exactly my feelings, not only about Chuck Todd, but so many others in the media, both in news and politics, as well as my previous field in sports media. Your job as a host or journalist is not to make friends with the president, White House press secretaries, lobbing up softball questions, letting them slide out the back door, not being buddy-buddy with politicians or a football coach or an athlete. Your job is to ask the pertinent, pressing questions that the people want answered. I know that, and I'm not even a journalism major. And if they don't answer, you reword it and you follow up. Recently in sports media, ESPN just let go of a bunch of people that were overpaid, didn't generate ratings, were too political, and became a losing investment. In doing so, they spent a boatload of money on one man, Pat McAfee, who is wild, entertaining, not woke, and has a massive following built from a YouTube show. And what has the fallout and reaction been? Former ESPN talent crying about how their political views weren't welcomed anymore. Well, it's very simple. Get woke, go broke. You know the adage. It's proven. Dan Le Batard is one of those guys, a former columnist turned talking head on ESPN, who is no longer there now, who is super left and progressive and had to say this on his Florida show. What is funny about what just happened with McAfee is I don't know if it's so because I can't go back in time and know if it would have actually be possible to have my politics and be what that is, because it's inescapable that post George Floyd, what happened there is they told me focus groups showed no politics with this, and that show's not going to have politics either. That was a quote from Le Batard on his Monday show. He goes on to say, quote, "But it looks a little bit like ours, like all of it, the fun formula and all that stuff. But at the center of it is a professional wrestler who's vastly more entertaining than me. I don't know if we could have actually been there given what my politics are like. I don't think it's possible," end quote. Well, Dan, it's very simple. You were let go because sports fans don't tune in to hear your thoughts on social justice messaging or George Floyd. Here are some numbers, some ratings to prove the point. On Monday, Le Batard's show on YouTube drew 38,000 views. Pat McAfee got 485,000. On the first day of the NFL season, McAfee beat Le Batard 476,000 to 26,000. That's like Fox News beating CNN 3 times over. It's a pretty simple formula if you're in the media or if you're a journalist, whether it's news and politics or sports. Be authentic, be fearless, work hard, quit worrying about people's feelings, and oh, by the way, try to entertain somebody along the way. And most importantly, stay in your lane. Stick to what your format is. Nothing more, nothing less. And if that doesn't happen, you'll be laughed at, mocked, or even worse, not consumed at all. That applies to Chuck Todd and any other hack in media that the audience can see right through. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in your thoughts and reactions, you can certainly do so. 855-839-1210, Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or, of course, be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. We'll come back, get some thoughts on that. Also, Chuck Todd's successor is going to have a debut interview with Donald Trump. We'll get to that story. And also, Mitt Romney says bye-bye at 76. And I don't think there are many Republicans that will miss him. We'll get to that as we continue 6 o'clock hour. Kayal and Company, Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Tonight, 8:15, the Eagles' home opener against the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, looks like the spread has ticked down about a half a point. Eagles minus 6.5. I'm going to take the Eagles minus 6.5 and the over at 48.5. They're going to be fired up after a almost loss to the New England Patriots on a Sunday. Right now, go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and you can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I love the FanDuel app, and now is the best time to join FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg. Sign up right now. It's the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in PA. First online enrollment, money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue Supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again Sunday afternoons at 4, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Are you struggling with things like fatigue, body aches, headaches, brain fog? You may be living with Lyme disease. And this may be true even if you have received antibiotics or your Lyme test was negative. Dr. Molly Fantasia and the healthcare team at Innovative Medical Associates have used medical hydration therapy to help hundreds of patients to reduce symptoms symptoms often associated with post-Lyme disease syndrome.
I want to get you through your initial challenge, working alongside with my physicians, and then get you to a place where we are looking at maintaining your immune system, maintaining your quality of life.
Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration.
Listen this Saturday as Penn State battles Illinois. Coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. on the home of Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, Riverton, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 6:30 Thursday morning. Good to have all of you in. Hopefully, you're off to a good start. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45 this morning? Another chance at a great gift card at 9:20 in our morning mystery movie clip. And, of course, 9:50 this morning, another keyword, your opportunity for a free trip to Walt Disney World. Disney Vacation Getaway in Orlando. By the way, real quick, because we've been promoting that and doing these keywords, what is the actual date in which a winner will go? Do we know? Is it like a winter trip?
I don't have any of that information.
Because that'd be a great time to go to Orlando.
We just know it's free.
Yeah, it's
that's
free.
why
It's for me.
That's why everybody should listen at 9:50 for the keyword,
right?
And then go to 1210 WPHT and enter it because it's free.
That's correct. And if you don't like it, you don't have to comment on it because it's free. How about that? 855-839-1210. We're going to get to Chuck Todd's successor and who this individual will have on the launch of the new show, and it's probably as big as it can possibly get. There's also a local tie to that story as well. But I do want to get some thoughts and reaction to the big take with journalism and media. And, Dawn, you know, it's interesting. I would have to believe from when you graduated and got into the field and got your first job to now in 2023, journalism and the media for sure has absolutely changed. The landscape is completely different. And I think journalism has changed a lot as well. Where I just feel like nowadays we look at the Matt Taibbis of the world or the Michael Schellenbergers of the world, very respected bulldog hardcore journalists that don't really have a political agenda. But then they get viewed and portrayed as alt media because they're not in line like the rest of the lapdogs. And then from like a citizen journalist standpoint, although I would say these two are more biased, like Mark Frusetti does a lot of citizen journalism, but he does it from the former officer perspective. And the same thing with Meg Brock. She's a noted conservative. She's not going to hide from that or run from it, but they at least have some conviction. They have a backbone. And they go after things that don't make sense. So from that standpoint, I just think journalism has changed much for the worse. And this really stems from yesterday when I'm seeing that headline that the White House is urging media executives to ramp up criticism. You don't get to dictate the content that these outlets put out. That's not your job, but that's what they're trying to do.
It's so well put, and I love that you took on this topic. It's something that I get asked about all the time. And in fact, last night, shout out to Delco Anthony's, the Commonwealth Club was out there, and that was one of the questions with the GOP here in Pennsylvania. And many people just saying, how do we get our message out? Because when we as people who are trying to run for office or be involved in the community, the media, all they want to ask certain questions and won't even let us get out any of our views or policies. And so how do we even get what we believe in. How do we even share that with the public? And so that was to your point about citizen journalism or citizen reporting. You do have your own voice online, but then how do you get out there? It used to be like, to your point, back in the day, you mentioned Chuck Todd, and
I like that, Tuck
Chad.
Chad.
Tuck Chad.
I
That's
like
my new
Tuck
name
Chad
for
way
him.
better.
He's transitioning to something else. So he's Tuck Chad.
Maybe that was Freudian, right?
Old Tuck.
Old Tuck.
Old
That's what
Chad.
I'm calling him for now. Tuck Chad. And by the way, being replaced by somebody who grew up here in Philadelphia, because Kristen Welker, pride of Philadelphia, worked at NBC 10 locally for many years, paying her dues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she was one in the debates that Trump complimented. That and even though they've had their back and forths, she tries to be fair. She here in Philadelphia, she always tried to give the full story.
Mm-hmm.
So I always keep the glass half full type thing. But I think moving forward, I do think that more and more the media loses credibility. So you say, what changed? So it used to be that media entities were independently owned and independently run. We've talked about FMZ in the Lehigh Valley.
Sure.
Right?
Grew up on that.
So FMZ, one of the few television stations in the nation that is independently owned. In other words, by a family, and they don't bow down to any of the networks, that sort of thing.
Yep.
That's a very big deal. And so now what happened was you had major media corporations buying out. And we talk about it all the time. Oh, who's buying Disney? Who's buying Fox? Who owns ABC News or CBS? So those huge corporations took over. So that if you look at the 6ABC website, and then you look at any ABC affiliate across the country, they have continuity. Why? They're all corporate owned.
Right.
And so it's not just the graphics.
Yeah.
It's also the overlords of corporate America have taken over the media.
Yeah.
And over time, that meant that it was not an altruistic wing. It was something very different. Also, it was a situation in my day, like I went to a journalism school, there were apprenticeships, you had paid internships, but you paid your dues, and there were gatekeepers all along the way. Now you have multimedia journalists, they go out with a camera, they're by themselves. There's not the oversight. And oftentimes they're just doing what they want to do.
Right.
They're giving, depending on the station and the management, and that's a real problem. And so there is not somebody to guide you through as far as ethics. So that goes back, I'll say 20 years.
Yeah.
So if you look at from Walter Cronkite. The other thing, though, I will bring up that supersizes it, and there's a book called The Filter Bubble, and it's by Eli Pariser. So it takes it further, and how now we have the algorithms. And we've talked about this a lot with DuckDuckGo.
Yep.
So the great thing about DuckDuckGo, and if you care about broadening your horizons information-wise,
right,
you want to use DuckDuckGo, because there are these algorithms that instead of doing what we thought the internet was supposed to do, which is broaden, I didn't know this, and opening up our minds.
It's doing the opposite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Takes us down. And one of the covers of that book, The Filter Bubble, shows an ostrich with its head, buried in the sand. But it's the personalization, the algorithms that narrow our focus.
Well, that's what Google's being accused of right now.
You're right. Yeah.
In that lawsuit.
That lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's a major antitrust, federal lawsuit. So this is something everybody has to be aware of, and for conservatives to be able to converse. But then we talk about Susie Cool. You talk about Bruno's update as being reinstated on Twitter. What's going on with people who get canceled by social media and they never really know why?
Right.
And then they'll even say, oops, sorry,
Yeah.
it was a technical error.
Just be glad we restored it for you. Right?
Yeah.
Like, just be glad you're back on the platform.
Like, whoosh, lucky you're back.
That's correct. 855-839-1210, the phone number. You mentioned Kristen Welker, and she will be the successor for Chuck Todd on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday morning. 47 years old, Philadelphia girl. You mentioned local NBC 10, went to Harvard. And her first guest will be none other who she apparently has the respect of, and that will be Donald J. Trump. This coming out yesterday. The executive producer, David Gellis, spoke of interviewing Trump in a chat, saying, quote, "We are in the business of covering politics. It is not our job to pick and choose the leaders. The American people get to do that. And so our job is to make sure that the American people understand who the people in power are, what they stand for, and what they plan to do."
Wow.
So that's
man.
that sounds the opposite of what Chuck Todd did for however many years he was there.
What is he, the executive producer of NBC?
NBC.
Wow, okay.
Yes. Now we'll see if he can come through with that nice delivery there and follow through with what he's claiming the mission statement will be. But, you know, I don't recall the Kristen Welker Trump interview. But, Dawn, as you said, it seems like she was, you know, pressing him a little bit, and he respected it. And it seems like maybe there's somewhat of a rapport and there's a mutual, hey, yeah, let's do this. Which, if you're Kristen Welker, I mean, there's no bigger guest in that spot for your debut show than Donald Trump.
That's huge for her. And it was one of the debates, right? That she moderated.
Yes. She moderated one of the debates.
And but pride of good Quaker education, Germantown friends right here in Philadelphia. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I will just say to you, I always liked her when I knew her here in Philadelphia when she worked for NBC 10, and she always, I thought, was professional and fair. And I think that's what Trump, when he complimented her in that one debate, moving forward, I just hope that she restores some of this and leads people at least to try to show that you're trying to be fair. They're not going to be fully. They've already shown their hand, but in this case, it does give me hope. And you think about Tim Russert is iconic in that role, and when he did that show, he was cordial and professional. He was so tough as an interviewer, but in the end, there was always some, anecdote about the sports or the way they were sports fans, and he kind of brought it all together and ended on a very nice note. Now it's just nasty.
Yes, that is correct. Yep. And then lastly, very big story yesterday, and this really hits with what we've been talking about on this show for a handful of weeks. We've been discussing age, term limits, age maximums for Joe Biden, Dianne Feinstein, Mitch McConnell, John Fetterman, on down the list. Well, yesterday, Mitt Romney announcing that he will not seek re-election in 2024. The, quote, Republican from Utah announced that when his term ends in January of 2025, he will step aside. As we know, he was the 2012 GOP candidate for president. He spoke to the Washington Post ahead of his official announcement and said his age heavily influenced his decision and that he believes younger Americans need to step up and shape the world they're going to live in.
I was going to play this during the cut sheet. I might still.
You can save it.
But no. I'll play it right now for the early for the people who tune in early. Okay. We very rarely play audio clips for the 6 o'clock listeners. So this is cut 7, Daniel. This is Mitt Romney announcing that he won't seek re-election. Cut 7.
I've spent my last 25 years in public service of one kind or another. At the end of another term, I'd be in my mid-80s. Frankly, it's time for a new generation of leaders. They're the ones that need to make the decisions that will shape the world they will be living in. Now, we face critical challenges: mounting national debt, climate change, and the ambitious authoritarians of Russia and China. Neither President Biden nor former President Trump are leading their party to confront those issues. On deficits and debt, both men refuse to address entitlements, even though they know that this represents 2/3 of federal spending. Donald Trump calls global warming a hoax, and President Biden offers feel-good solutions that make no difference to the global climate. On China, President Biden underinvests in the military, and President Trump underinvests in our alliances. Political motivations too often impede the solutions that these challenges demand.
We can certainly get into the content of what he's saying for the reasons why he's stepping aside outside of his age. But for just this moment here, as we wrap up the segment, it's just actually, forget what you think about Mitt Romney, so refreshing that a politician at 76 says, you know what, I'm not going to stick around another 10, 12, 15 years.
You know what's interesting about this is that when he said he was 76, we talk about age all the time and fitness.
Mhm.
I had no idea. He does not look 76.
He sounds
or
and
act like
looks
76.
Sounds and looks like he could keep going.
And that's not a disrespect to people who are 76 years old, because there's a lot of them who are, who could run circles around me. I understand that. But when you think about age and you think about somebody who doesn't want to seek another term because he's going to be in his 80s, Mitt Romney was not the first person that jumped out at me, because I didn't, to be quite honest with you, I never really thought about his age.
Yeah, and I don't. This to me is not about, well, he's a rhino and good. I'm glad he's gone, but I just love the fact that we
he's
are.
Not gone yet,
well, he's, thank God. Well, it'll be close. What are we? About 15 months left.
Did you see what Trump? Did you see what Trump wrote on
he's taking
Truth?
He's taking a victory lap.
What did he say?
He said, "Fantastic news for America. The great state of Utah for the Republican Party. Mitt Romney, sometimes referred to as Pierre Delecto, will not be seeking a second term in the U.S. Senate, where he did not serve with distinction."
Yeah.
This is from Trump. Because remember, Romney used that pseudonym, Pierre Delecto, on Twitter. He was trying to be anonymous. But Trump added, and this is the key point, a big primary fight against him was in the offing. He was going to lose.
Right.
And so he says, but that will not be necessary now. Congrats to all. Make America great again.
There you go.
My question for you guys is that I was at this radio station in 2012. I saw a rally in Bucks County outside of Newtown in a field where he had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. If you looked out at that crowd in Bucks County a few days before the election of 2012, you would have been like, well, this guy's certainly going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was Sandy. It was, so this is why.
11 years later, and like he's persona non grata in the Republican Party.
Because the truth was it was a critical moment. I was on the TV side covering it. And so the issue, Greg, is that, first of all, that horrible Candy Crowley debate with Obama, where Candy Crowley, remember this?
Yeah, I'm not trying. I don't want to go back in time. I'm just curious what happened with.
But this is the creation of Trump, and I think it's an important. Why did people celebrate Trump? Because in that moment where everybody was watching, it was a debate where Candy Crowley of CNN took over and wrongfully lied about facts and sort of smacked down Romney. If that had happened with Trump, he would have said, "Oh no, who are you? Am I debating Obama or you?"
Mm-hmm.
And he would have snapped back. Romney didn't do that because he was respectful and he believed, look at the big take that Nick's doing. This was going on, and Republicans and conservatives weren't fully realizing it.
Right.
And it's why the big take this morning that Nick Kayal, if you missed it, it was awesome. And it's relevant. And so Trump was created by the media bias and out of that. And that's why people rallied around him, and still to this day.
And he's been on both sides of the media, whether he was the media
Amen.
darling,
NBC
and
darling
now vilified.
for 16 years.
Right.
So blame NBC to make him a star. But then Sandy happened. Romney was ahead prior. It was close, but he was ahead prior to Hurricane Sandy. And then freaking Chris Christie came out there hugging Obama.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
At the same point, Romney felt it wasn't appropriate to really do anything during
Romney
Sandy, and he stopped.
Romney got trounced in that
He
election.
did.
He
did because he
was never
looked
close.
weak.
Yeah. It was never close.
Look back at the polls, my friend.
Well, polls are
okay.
useless.
Take
But
polls with a grain of salt.
It took a huge turn. It took a huge and drastic turn when Sandy happened. Obama looked strong. The big guy in Jersey hugs him, but also Romney looked so lame and weak in both the debates with Candy Crowley when she was biased and horrible. And actually, I think that was her demise because it was so bad. Even CNN had to admit it. But also, that was the big hug heard around the country. But he was weak. He really was. He's a good man. I'm not dismissing that, but not a good leader. And I think that is a critical moment for the creation of and the rise of Trump. I'm just saying that piece of history is important.
855-839-1210 is the number. One of Joe Biden's biggest supporters says don't seek re-election. The details coming up next as we continue. Kayal and Company, live here on a Thursday morning. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home,
There is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation, or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433838.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The percentage of overdose deaths from stimulants laced with fentanyl has increased 50-fold since 2010, according to a study from the University of California. Masterman school teachers are suing the school district. They claim their pay was docked because they wanted answers about asbestos in their building. The FDA is warning about unapproved eye products being sold at drugstores.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, we got to talk about innovation refunds. Do you know about it? You really should know about it, especially if you own a small business. Innovation Refunds has been asking small business owners just to check and see if you may be eligible for a big payroll tax refund, and that's for the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit. So if you own a business with 5 or more full-time W-2 employees, you can learn more about your ERC tax refund eligibility at innovationrefunds.com. You can call 1-843-REFUNDS. So just to give you an example about a true story of a CPA, Bill Goodman, an owner of Ford & Goodman accounting firm. Okay, he didn't think his own business, this is a CPA, okay? He didn't think his own business would even qualify until he reached out to Innovation Refunds. Even a CPA like Bill understood just how very different filing an ERC claim is from doing regular income taxes. Okay, that's why his accounting firm did not do their own ERC tax return. What does that tell you? So they've referred several clients now to Innovation Refunds because this is a skill set, and that's why you need innovationrefunds.com, 1-843-REFUNDS. Determine your eligibility, and there's nothing to lose here because there is no upfront charge. Okay, they don't get paid unless you get paid. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or any legal advice. They work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and then process your claims, cutting through all that red tape, cutting through all the bureaucracy. Terms and conditions apply. InnovationRefunds.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 6:53 Thursday morning. Dawn will kick off hour number 2 with some news. Also, some stories with Joe Biden, a favorite Biden columnist saying he should not seek re-election in 2024. And also, the front page of the New York Post today, just absolutely destroying Joe Biden. The front page, I just tweeted it if you want to take a look at it, at Nick Kayal, Kayal on Twitter. Under Joe Biden, the median household income has now fallen to $74,000, which is actually $4,000 less than it was in 2019, the last year before the pandemic. Inflation's still up 3.7%. Gas prices soaring, and the headline on the New York Post says, "It's still the economy, stupid. Bidenomics isn't working." And you got this like goofy looking picture of Joe with somebody holding a bunch of money on fire. So we will get into a little bit of Joe Biden coming up to kick off hour number 2. And then also, Bill Maher will be returning with his show, Sans Writers, which seems to be a common theme and trend if you've been paying attention to the writer's strike. So we'll get to all of that. And also coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, before we get to the cut sheet, 2 very interesting stories about where we are as a society today from the Wall Street Journal. One of which includes, in the workplace now, they will no longer offer you feedback because that is offensive and too harsh. Moving forward, the new buzzword is we will offer you feed forward. True story, Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
This is not a spoof. This is not a Babylon Bee story.
When are you doing this?
This is coming up in the 7 o'clock hour.
Can't wait.
We got to get to this. This will be amazing. So we'll do all of that as we kick off hour number 2. It's Kayal and Company, live here on a Thursday morning, and we're back after this on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Don't take shots just to lose weight. NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast without any of the side effects. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, the natural way. Go to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaris and Mark Cumberland at a special time this Saturday night at 6. Find out everything you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com and listen to Good News in Real Estate this Saturday night at 6.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna at New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown. 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for that no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today, 800-300-0003.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Hi, I'm Mark Luca, president of Aqua Pennsylvania.
Aqua wants to help you avoid costly and unsafe sewer backups. Don't flush disinfectant or other hygiene wipes down the toilet. Even flushable wipes can cause backups in household plumbing and larger blockages in wastewater collection systems. Dispose of all wipes in the trash instead. Also, don't flush tissues, napkins, or paper towels, which can also contribute to clogs in pipes. Aqua Pennsylvania, an Essential Utilities company.
Hey Philly, looking to save big on your next new Infiniti? Then look no further than the Bush Auto Group. Right now, all 2023 Infiniti models come with 3 years of scheduled maintenance. And that's not all. Every vehicle purchase at the Bush Auto Group comes with over $3,000 in bonus value to drive down the cost of vehicle ownership. Don't wait. Swing by one of our 2 Bush Infiniti locations in Ardmore and Westchester today and drive off with a grin as wide as the Schuylkill Expressway. Visit bushautogroup.com to learn more. And remember, Philly rides with us.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Joe to Camera. Going back to school means getting back to busy schedules, from the science fair to the ball field to that after-school snack. We're always on the go, so add a little tasty to your kids' day and pack some delicious Tasty Cake mini muffins, seasonal favorites like pumpkin baked pies or the classic crimpet. There's only one way to make your kids' day tasty. Anything else is a miscake. Grab your kids a Tasty Cake treat today. Tasty Cake, except no substitutes.
Drive in with Kayal and Company mornings 6 till 10. Drive home with Rich Zioli afternoons 3 till 7. Live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Something's at the edge of your mind. You don't know what it is. Something you were hoping to find. You're not sure what it is.
Kayal and Company, hour number 2 underway here on a Thursday morning. Nick Kale, Dawn Stenzel, and Greg Stocker. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45 this morning? Some incredible stories on feedback in the workplace from the Wall Street Journal. Bill Maher going back to work sans writers, and also a writer for the Washington Post saying that Joe Biden should step aside and not run again in 2024. A lot of good stuff this morning, sort of a bounce-around show with all sorts of different good little stories that we'll get to. And, of course, this morning, your chance once again for a free trip to Walt Disney World. Keyword coming up at 9:50 this morning. And another awesome prize for our morning mystery movie clip, which we will tell you about in a little bit. That is coming up at 9:20. But let's get some news. Round number 2 here on this Thursday morning, and we go to Dawn Stensland.
And good morning on this Thursday morning, September 14th. Happy birthday to my David. A lot of birthdays. Sergeant Mark Fuzetti.
How old is David
this
today?
week? He is 17 today.
17.
Sweet 17.
There you go.
Football. He's got a football game this afternoon. Remember those days?
Thursday game.
Yeah, Thursday game. It's an unusual one.
Wow.
So Archbishop Wood.
Okay.
This afternoon. So happy birthday, David. Best Work Industries for the Blind. Thank you for being our sponsor this morning. And if it feels a little cooler to you this morning as you wake up, I will tell you about the refreshing changes in store for the forecast, not just for today. So we've been talking a lot this morning about the very latest as Philadelphia police are investigating a shooting that happened not far from the Temple University campus. This is North Philadelphia. Pico crews were called with one of those big trucks and apparatus. Pico crews called to fix some downed wires and equipment there. And that's when, unfortunately, a shootout happened on the street, apparently. Police investigating this shooting, and a Pico employee there struck by a stray bullet during this shootout in North Philadelphia. So gunfire erupting on the street just after 10 o'clock last night, North Marshall and York Streets. And Pico confirms that their employee was repairing the equipment there in that area by the power lines when the employee was struck by that stray bullet. So the worker was alert, was conscious when it was taken to the hospital, undergoing surgery, and is listed in stable condition. That we don't have all the details. They're not releasing the individuals the victim's name here. And police say they're also investigating reports that 3 other victims, at least one juvenile male, were dropped off at nearby Temple University Hospital.
You know, it just dawned on me, no pun intended, Dawn. Not only do we have a shooting problem and a gun crisis in this city with violence, we have an accuracy problem as well. How many times do you have a story where somebody received a stray bullet? A Pico guy gets shot, not the intended recipient. And when Cavalcante broke into that guy's garage, the guy shot 7 times, missed all 7 times. Nobody can hit anybody in this city.
So we need more target practice. Is that your take?
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
oh my gosh!
They need to go to King Shooters or someplace like that and take some shooting lessons.
These must be all recipients of the Ben Simmons Shooting Academy, where all you do is miss.
Oh my goodness! Well, thank God that they were. But that's, to your point, that's part of the callous nature, just a disregard for anybody in the vicinity, and we hear that about neighborhoods where even it pierces pierces the walls of homes.
Yep.
I mean, oh my goodness.
Yep.
So we have that going on with Philadelphia police overnight on that scene and tracking that situation. We don't have motivation. We don't know. Is it gang related? Is it drug related? We don't get any of that information, but obviously under investigation. And of course, making international news as many people are thankful and so relieved that search for an escaped killer from a Chester County prison, yes, in custody, and now being he reportedly is going to end up at Graterford, but ending up in state prison because he is convicted of murder. But the story goes that hundreds of people worked tirelessly, used a lot of technology, the latest tech, as law enforcement was working to catch this guy. And under the scrutiny of the media, ultimately, you could say, well, it wasn't necessarily technology, it wasn't manpower, but man's best friend, a canine named Yoda, getting the credit for the final, catching the guy.
At the end of the day, living, breathing organisms like humans and dogs, we still might be better than technology and artificial intelligence.
Isn't that something?
It is. You know what's the other thing that was amazing? And I don't know if I saw the video on Twitter. I guess Shapiro yesterday in his press conference said that he will get a Kelly Green Eagles jersey for the person that Cavalcante stole the sweatshirt from.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Shapiro's like, hey, why don't we surprise this guy? We go out to his house and give it to him in person, do a photo op, be rolling, and then videotape the whole thing, and the guy opens up the door and he's got a Let's Go Brandon shirt on. Wouldn't that just be the ultimate fitting irony?
I mean, in that
it's
area,
highly likely.
In that area, it's very likely.
I know.
Well, and to your point, that's why you better have a good advance team.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep.
It's just make sure.
Yes.
Yoda is a 4-year-old Belgian Malinois. So I thought he was a German Shepherd.
Looks just like a Shepherd.
Yeah.
And we all are dog lovers here.
Yep.
I had never heard of this dog, a Belgian Malinois.
No.
But the 4-year-old dog canine serves with U.S. Border Patrol, the tactical canine units, and they were assisting Pennsylvania State Police as well as local authorities. So a lot of people saying that the canine, I loved online, a lot of people said online, who gets the $25,000 reward? And should it go to at least the canine unit to train? Because it's very expensive to train those canines.
Yes, it is.
That was a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Maybe the dog gets early retirement now. He's got his retirement fund.
Yeah, but those dog, like German Shepherds, they want to work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're like politicians in Washington, D.C. They want to stick around forever.
Like, oh, I need duty. Oh, Call of Duty. You talked about the Google on trial, the Google Justice Department's case against the company. This goes on, and it's a related lawsuit as well, brought by 38 different states and territories, arguing in court. And this is an update. We told you this. Nick Kayal told you this yesterday. We've talked about it a lot, that this began yesterday. It's a huge deal as far as the government's challenge in winning this case. And it's closely connected to the antitrust policy in the United States. So everybody's watching this very carefully. Google being dominant and essentially paying other companies like Apple to cut out the competition. So pays billions of dollars a year to companies like Apple so that Google is the default search engine, for example, on iPhones. And so the Justice Department says that's not fair. Competitors to Google cannot establish themselves. However, Google lawyers argued yesterday in court that people don't use Google because they have to. They use it because they want to. So this now, the opening arguments have begun.
Okay.
By the way, Daniel, if you can put up the picture of the dog. I should have had you do this earlier for the people watching on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT if you have not seen it yet. I just wanted to put, there we go. Look at that. Good boy. That's a good boy. Such a good boy.
Can I get some chicken?
Oh, look
boy.
at him. He's like, yep, I found this scumbag.
Yeah, he pounced on him, too.
Yep.
You know that guy was just laying there between those logs, and that dog sniffed him out. Hey, Cavalcanti, at that point, right, you're just like, it's over.
It's over.
Like that moment that dog's on you, you're like, the gig's up.
And they grab a hold of you, and they're like, yeah, I'm not letting go of you, buddy.
Right.
Sorry.
Because I guess we said he was in the shed, but then he was sort of under a log pile. Then he was going through thick brush, still trying to get away with the rifle.
Right.
And that's why they then released the canine.
Correct.
And boom. And I guess they confirmed he did bite him in the head.
Yeah, buddy.
So
is that why the forehead was bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Should have taken out an eyeball or two.
Exactly. The dog went for the kill shot.
Yeah.
He's going for the throat.
Well, so those canines are trained. What is it? Bite and hold, bite and hold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you could see that. And the dog, talk about, look at him. That's his. It's like, I want this picture on the mantle. Oh, I got him.
Yeah, bite and hold. That is
right?
the strategy.
I bet I might hold him. Oh.
That's what Hooch did in Turner and Hooch. When Tom Hanks sent Hooch on the run.
Yeah.
Well, Hooch had no place to run in this one. I love the story of it. And of course, we didn't love the story of the Bidenomics. Nick Kayal talking earlier this morning about the economy. Core CPI, this is the Consumer Price Index report, and it came in just above the expectations, rising about 6.6% on the monthly basis. The core CPI, which excludes energy and food prices, rising 0.3% on a monthly basis. So the data coming, as we know that the Federal Reserve monetary policy has grown in recent weeks. Everybody's looking to what the Fed will do next, talking about inflation. And this is critical, perhaps a little bit boring and in the weeds. So we talk about it every morning to update you and just continue on with it. U.S. Treasury yields were little changed, though, this morning as investors considered the outlook for inflation following yesterday's CPI report, Consumer Price Index report, and then awaiting further key economic data. So we continue to track, the impact of the Biden administration, Bidenomics, as the Biden administration, we report all the time, claims that the economy is doing well, thriving, and we pray for that, but these are the numbers. So we'll continue to look at that one. And of course, Eagles tonight, which really brings me to the forecast, as the Phils did lose, allowing the Braves to clinch. Phillies beat yesterday 4-1 last night. And so the Phils in St. Louis tomorrow, opening that series with the Cardinals, and the Eagles home opener against Minnesota Vikings tonight, 8:15 kickoff. Eagles.
Under 48, folks. Empty out your 401k. Whatever you have left that you haven't already withdrawn at 10% penalty, just put it on the under tonight.
Do you want to do a little wager between you and I for
absolutely.
the over under? Okay.
Sure.
All right, so the over under right now, and I'm going right now through FanDuel, FanDuel.com/Greg. If you want to do, what is it, 48.5?
Yeah, I'll go under.
All right.
You go over?
I'll go
over. Oh, look, there's Governor Josh Shapiro on live NBC today.
Oh, yeah, he loves
Today's show.
Yeah. We'll roll on this, and I'll play it in cut sheet part 2 if there's anything said. 48.5, I'll go with the under, or the over.
Okay.
You'll do the under 20 spot?
Yeah.
20 spot.
20's fine. Look at this. We're just gambling on the air midway through Dawn's news.
All right.
Dawn's trying to get to the first alert forecast, and we're putting in the first wager of the day.
It's okay. What better time to put in it than 7:13?
I love placing bets in the 7 a.m. hour of my life.
Placing bets with your morning coffee.
Yeah. Next week, you're going to start drinking at 7:15. So,
that's on the precipice.
So, just a little media tip. If you're really running for president someday and you want to get your name out there in national news and you're on the Today Show, do not appear in a 2-shot with a big 6'5" strapping Pennsylvania State Police officer. Okay, I'm just saying.
So you're saying Shapiro looks small right now?
He looks like a child.
He looks like Danilo Cavalcante.
And Shapiro's like, I don't know, 5'10", he's not. But the gentleman with the Pennsylvania State Police is just. looks like he could play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
And so he looks very
Can
small.
you imagine Shapiro standing next to Fetterman?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is true. Hey, we are sponsored by Best Work Industries for the Blind. Changing Lives, truly a nonprofit organization located in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Best Work Industries for the Blind, providing training, employment for people who are blind or visually impaired. So for employment opportunities or to donate, just go to bestworkindustries.org. NBC 10 First Alert Forecast. What a beauty. So today, 76 degrees, crisp, cool air. It's going to feel great all day. A little chill in the air by 8:15 after sundown at the Eagles game at the Link. So maybe bring a light jacket. 68 degrees this morning, but heating up to 76. Mostly sunny for your tomorrow. What a lovely Friday. Nice breeze, high of 75. Saturday, high clouds mixed with sun. Stays breezy, high pressure building in from the west. Hurricane Lee way offshore with a high of 77 degrees. And then Sunday, 80 degrees. So the warmth comes back, a little humidity comes back, but still sunny, just a few clouds, a beautiful weekend in store. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 3 interesting things that we will get to before the cut sheet at 7:45. Why this Washington Post columnist telling Joe Biden not to seek re-election is important. Also, the word feedback in the workplace and Bill Maher with the writer's strike. We'll get to all of that. But quickly, noted German Shepherd expert, my sister, Erin, she's had like 2 or 3 Shepherds in her life. She says the Belgian Malinois, or however you pronounce that, the dog that they use to catch Cavalcante. Somebody in YouTube will let me know. They look like a German Shepherd, but they're meaner and more aggressive. They're good for canine units and police officers.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you, Aaron.
A little more of a temper than the typical German Shepherd. So,
Or because some dogs, the problem is, I guess they won't. I know I've done stories with the canine units, and they always tell us some dogs just won't bite.
Right.
And they need that bite and hold.
Yep.
So that's interesting that it's even a tougher.
Yeah.
Has a more tenacity to it.
Yeah, apparently this Belgian dog doesn't give a damn. They just go for it. It's right after those guys. All right.
The Rambo of dogs.
That is correct. So we'll get to this Biden column on the other side. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in if you want to join the show. Social media as well at 1210 WPHT, or of course in the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. And while you're at it and you're on the interwebs or DuckDuckGo, why don't you check out the Piazza Auto Group? As you know, I've recently leased a 2023 Honda Ridgeline from Piazza Honda of Springfield since about 3 or 4 days before Memorial Day. Absolutely have loved it so far, and I'm looking forward to when we do get some bad weather, driving this bad boy and plowing right through it to get to work. And if you're a truck person like me, now's the great time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. If Springfield is out of the way, that's fine. Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, because you're going to want to take advantage of 0.9% APR financing. But if you're not in the market for a truck, that's okay. The Honda Civic, the Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, and many other models with Honda. The Piazza Auto Group now with 17 brands. So maybe Honda is not what you're looking for. Nissan, Mercedes, Maserati, Land Rover, on down the list. They have got you covered with 17 different brands. And accessibility is very important. They have 35 locations throughout the area. That's why they are my go-to for all things automotive. To find your next vehicle, it could be new or a certified pre-owned vehicle. Just check them out online right now at piazzaautogroup.com.
The Dudad Dental Group is excited to begin their 3rd season as the official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles. You can trust the team at Dudad Dental Group to provide the most advanced and compassionate care. From Lehigh Valley to Center City, Dudad has a location near you that takes all major insurances. If it's time for your routine cleaning or you're considering dental implants or something in between, make the Dudad Dental Group your pick. Smile like the birds. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a censor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is The password to my bank account is high school password 1. Uh-oh. The button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
I'm always striving to live my healthiest life, so I need a health plan that has my back. With Independence Blue Cross, I get access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free virtual doctor visits 24/7. Plus, with premiums as low as $0 per month, I can stay on top of my health and keep my budget in check. Independence has given me coverage I can count on, and they'll do the same for you. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You've heard me talk with you about my friend, board-certified prosthodontist, my dentist, Dr. Robert Bentz of Bentz Dental Group in East Norriton. Dr. Bentz is nationally, locally recognized as one of the area's top prosthodontists. I stopped in to see him, showed me his 3D printer. We've talked about this before, but they have incorporated it so much in their practice. It really helps him expand his patient solutions, specialize in new ways to help you achieve your oral goals, makes it so convenient. We've talked about in one sitting and all the rest of it, some of the stuff he can do. Now more than ever, too. Local dentists, they refer their patients to him for more complex cases. He loves to be a problem solver. Call Dr. Bentz at 610-272-6949. Make that appointment today. He's my dentist, my good friend. He's at your service to get your dental health back on track. Call him with any questions or make an appointment. 610-272-6949.
Hey, I want you to join me right now. Download the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers, you make a winning $10 bet, get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. If you're looking for action, excitement, entertainment, Parks Casino and Sportsbook is the only casino and sportsbook, as you know, I ever recommend. The coolest nightlife, 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games, best sportsbook on the East Coast. And, of course, we love Joe Conklin's Comedy Night and the best local bands only at 360 Lounge. Conklin and Zioli and our own Nick Kayal were at Parks just last week. But right now we've got a huge night, the huge opener tonight, 8:15 tonight, home opener for our sports fans, our football fans. So open the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You're in the zone. Live betting. The Birds are now 6-point home favorites, hosting Minnesota. The over-under now 49 points. Have you made your anytime touchdown score wagers yet? Bet more than just the score. Bet player performance. This is my favorite thing, betting on the individual player performances like passing and rushing yards and much more. You don't have to be a football expert to do that. Just bet team touchdowns. Check out the same game parlays under the pre-pack tab on the app. It's really easy to use. If I can use it, you can use it. Birds to win, game total to go over 48 points, and for the Birds QB to score a TD. So a $50 wager on that one, on that game parlay, wins you $147. Live betting, parlays, props, teasers, they've got it all. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Ben Salem, tell your smart speaker play 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, 722 Thursday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet coming up? 7:45 this morning. So, very interesting when you have certain people that are known to be, and this actually kind of ties back into the big take a little bit this morning on media and journalism. But President Biden, and when you have certain people that portray you in a good light, or those that are really dialed in or connected as a reporter, and certain reporters have different sources. So when they put something out there, people are like, oh, okay, if this guy or this lady has it, it could be very likely to happen. So apparently Joe Biden, befitting his generation, he loves newspapers, the classic columnist, and this is courtesy of Axios. And David Ignatius, Tom Friedman, and David Brooks top his list. Well, Ignatius is a 73-year-old well-connected Washington Post foreign affairs columnist who writes spy novels on the side. And he has a column out on Wednesday with the blunt headline of President Biden should not run again in 2024. So why that matters, obviously Biden and his age, 80 going on 81, or 81 actually, and, if he seeks re-election and wins, he would end up being 86 at the time his second term commences. And, we've been talking a lot about age. Mitt Romney at 76, he's going to be stepping aside. He will not seek re-election. But this is very interesting because many people well-connected in the Washington, D.C. area, not just in D.C. politics, but with the Washington Post, have said, really, they've all regurgitated basically the same message that, make no mistake about it, Ignatius's column in the Washington Post is more than a suggestion. It's a marching order. When American intelligence wants to put out a hit, they feed it to David Ignatius. And today, which was yesterday, Ignatius pulled the pin on Joe Biden's 2024 run. He's turning Washington's whispers into a rallying cry. The American intelligence community has to tie up their loose ends. So this is interesting because, Greg, you're on record as say, when it comes to a prediction, that you do not believe that Joe Biden will be the nominee and will not run for the Democrats.
I do not.
So, it's certain guys that have inside information, and if this guy's putting this out there, this could be like the Dems saying, look, we really want this guy out.
The tide seems to be changing. I have a clip that I'm going to play in about 20 minutes of Joe Scarborough, who said yesterday that he, every Democrat he talks to privately is saying Biden is too old to run. He says not 99%, not 90%. Every Democrat he talks to says Biden is too old to run.
Yeah.
There's a changing of the tide here that I think they're ramping up pressure on Joe Biden not to run.
But here's the interesting,
and David Ignatius, is kind of like the first shot across the bow.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. But what contradicts all of that, and I'm not saying Ignatius is wrong or you're wrong by any stretch, if he's not going to be the guy, why did they just dump another $25 million into their campaign and their advertising? We were just talking about this last week. I think it was geared towards the first NFL weekend, Thursday through Sunday, where you were going to see this campaign. If you're not the guy and you're not the guy, or you hear the whispers, why would you spend that bulk of money if you're? It just seems like not the wisest financial investment. I mean, I think that's a pretty safe assertion there. Usually you put that kind of money into something, it's because you're trying to get something right with your message, or maybe tell the American people that, oh, I'm not too old, or whatever he's trying to accomplish with this campaign. You don't do if you're not going to be in the race, unless he's so out of it that he doesn't know that he's not going to be the guy, which could very well be the case. So it's kind of an interesting difference here. And he goes on to say, Ignatius, Biden has never been good at saying no. He says a chance to say no to himself this time is by withdrawing from the 2024 race. Time is running out. In a month or so, this decision will be cast in stone. It will be too late for other Democrats, including the Vice President Kamala Harris, to test themselves in primaries and see whether they have the stuff of presidential leadership. So, I mean, he's basically saying by the time we get to Halloween, we will know one way or the other whether or not it will be Joe. And if you take everybody that knows anything about this columnist and his connections and his accuracy and what he's basically throwing out there on behalf of the Dems who probably slipped this tidbit to him, in 6 weeks, we might be looking at a lame duck president. And then, oh, by the way, on the other side of the ledger, what's the deal with Trump, all the court cases, and how the primary is going to play out for the Republican Party. So to the extent of which you have said, and you've been on this, not just predicting that it won't be Joe, you don't think it will be Trump Biden at all in a rematch. Two totally new combatants this time around.
Agreed.
Okay. So,
but time is winding down for that to happen.
Yes.
So I'm probably going to be proven incorrect. But, it's fun to kick around for
we'll see.
2 months.
All right, 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. You know, we've got a lot of soft people out in society. And you know what? The people that are paid to get in conference rooms and eliminate words in the workplace, they have arrived at a new conclusion. This courtesy of the Wall Street Journal. We all have our reviews, right? We sit down with the boss and they give us feedback. Well, apparently feedback is too harsh. There's a new word in the workplace, folks. Snowflakes. Stay tuned. We'll get to that when we come back. Kayal and Company live here on a Thursday. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The NFL season is here. Now is the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. But if you haven't done so, you have to act now because this offer ends September 18th, which is next week. So do it now. FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up. Do it right now. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23, so register right now. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
This is Larry Steinhess of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
I'm not even mad that I've never experienced that so-called brotherly love you all brag about here in Philly. I wouldn't expect that being a huge rival and all.
That's football legend and all-time rushing leader Emmitt Smith.
Even though we've been on different sides of the field, I'm still going to extend some kindness to you folks and tell you all about a way to get relief from that awful joint pain without surgery or harmful medications. That's QC Kinetics.
They're the nation's leader in regenerative treatments that go right to the source of your pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, using your natural healing properties. Right in the office, no downtime, to get you the relief you deserve.
See, we're all in this together when it comes to getting relief from that nagging joint pain. I'm glad I can show you some brotherly love, Philly.
Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, Why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And, for the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children go without enough food to eat. You can help feed the hungry. Donate to the Catholic Charities Appeal. Visit CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org, giving hope to those who need it most. CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Ignatius Church in Yardley with Dennis Horan and Brendan Donegan, Saturday, November 4th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free speech lives here.
Kayal Company, 7:34 as we continue Thursday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet? Coming up in just about 10 minutes. 855-839-1210 to climb in. A couple of good stories to get to here, including this story from the Wall Street Journal. Just when you thought we couldn't get any more ridiculous in the United States of America in 2023, this story comes out. Feedback is now too harsh. That is correct. Greg, so when we do end of year one review, I would like to just have a review. Maybe we could call it feed forward. I don't think I really want any feedback on the show. Actually, the feedback has been great. Yeah, it's a little too harsh. And this is what employers are saying around the country. So let me give you just these little 2 or 3 paragraphs here. Employers around the country have good news for workers who dread chats about their performance. Feedback is on the way out. Many companies, executive coaches, and HR professionals are looking to erase the anxiety-inducing word from the corporate lexicon because hearing feedback creates anxiety. And some are urging it to be replaced by what they see as a gentler, more constructive word. It's called feed forward.
Yep.
Feedback too often leaves workers feeling defeated, weighed down by past actions instead of considering the next steps ahead. But feed forward encourages improvement and development, its proponents say. Quote, the old assumptions of feedback and all that word conjures up, I think puts a chill on performance, says Joe Hirsch. Probably a guy I would never want to go golfing with, by the way. A corporate speaker, another great title, and author of a book on how to fix feedback. Feed Forward is about this forward-looking view of people, performance, and potential. The canceling of feedback has its share of skeptics. It comes as younger generations who can prefer a more positive, nurturing environment are accounting for a larger share of the workforce. And companies increasingly focus on performance and efficiency following a pause on reviews during the pandemic. Quote, feedback conversations, as they commonly exist today, activate a social threat response in the brain. Everything's a threat, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not in my safe space.
Everybody's a snowflake.
He's a threat to democracy.
Yep.
In the brain, interfering with the ability to think clearly and raising the heart rates of individuals, says Teresa Adams, Senior HR Knowledge Advisor at Human Resources Trade Association, SHRM. You know what the problem is? These HR people, with all due respect, because my sister's a big HR executive, and she has to go through these things and come up with all these nonsensical meetings. First of all, I don't know how you could ever do it. You couldn't pay me enough to put a dissertation on about eliminating the word feedback. And then showing up in a workplace in a little area and grabbing a microphone in front of all the employees and saying, you know, we've done a lot of extensive research, and we have decided that your company, who's paying me a lot of money to come here and talk and spew out this mumbo jumbo, we're going to eliminate the word feedback because your anxiety can't handle it. So moving forward, to make your life easier, to keep your heart rate down and your brain from rapidly firing,
we're going to go with feed forward because that's a progressive outlook on life and your profession.
Feed forward.
Are you kidding me with this garbage?
This is, by the way, this has been conjured up in some HR, PR boardroom where they're like, well, we don't want to get sued or we don't want to get in trouble for doing this, so let's call it this, and we'll make sure that there's people on hand that can speak to people if their bosses talk to them in a certain way.
It's just, and here's the thing. Well, if you're struggling in your profession and you know your review or the feedback is going to be negative, well, then do one of two things. Either do your job better or just quit.
I know.
Or get fired. I do say, like, oh, my God, the feedback. I got to go into the boss's office at 9:15 this morning. I haven't even checked my emails yet, and it's 8:42. God, just stop, people. And I just want to give Gen Z some credit because there's a great Gen Z story in the New York Post where I'm actually going to give that group of people a ton of credit before we get out of here this morning because it's a funnier story. But they've finally done something I agree with. You get this. Feedback. Negative. So what are you going to do? So that's that. We'll get to the cut sheet here in about 3 or 4 minutes. But, Greg, you found this, and this is very interesting. Speaking of, we've talked a lot about, the late night shows on this show, the demise of late night comedy, all the terrible shows from Fallon to Kimmel on down the list. And we know that the writer's strike is still going on. But apparently a lot of them are returning, but they will not be bringing back the ensemble cast behind the scenes with their writing staff. And Bill Maher, who we play a lot of on the cut sheet when he criticizes the left and cancel culture and the wokeness and all that stuff. Bill Maher is going to resume his show despite the ongoing Hollywood strike. Comedian and political commentator Bill Maher saying he will resume Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO despite the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. He said on X, which used to be known as Twitter, Real Time is coming back, Maher wrote in a post. It has been 5 months, and it's time to bring people back to work. The writers have important issues that I sympathize with and hope they are addressed to their satisfaction, but they are not the only people with issues, problems, and concerns. He loves his writers. He says he's one of them, but it's time to get back to work. And he said, look, it's not going to be the same show, and he said it might not even be as good.
Yeah, he said it's not going to be the same show. He's just going to do the panel stuff. It's not going to be the monologue and all the bits and all the stuff that he does. And quite frankly, I don't know if he's doing new rules or not because I know he writes new rules. I'm sure he has help writing it, but I'm not sure if he's going to do new rules or not. But quite frankly, I always fast forward through the monologue.
So you don't like
anyway?
the monologue?
No, it's just it's like I'm tired of monologues. The old Johnny Carson standing up in front of an audience saying, "Wow, wasn't that wild?" You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't. It's 2023. We don't need that anymore.
Don, you hear that? He's sick of the monologue. So note to self: no more big takes.
Less work for me.
I'm not letting you get out of that, pal. No. What I'm saying is that late night formula of the standing up and doing the monologue, joke, hey, news of the day, joke. It's kind of tired. You know what I mean?
Does this expose Bill Maher for being lazy? I mean, think about this. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to compare the big take to Bill Maher's monologue or any comedian's monologue. But, I do 6 to 8 minutes every day where I don't have anybody writing it for me. It takes me about an hour and a half to write these each day. He's on once a week doing a show. He can't do his opening monologue without a writer or a group of writers?
Well, I think he's trying to come. All of these, like Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Hudson, all of these daytime talk shows are coming back too. They're trying to play both sides, so they want to do their shows. But they also want to show solidarity with the writers. So they're trying to take the portions of the show that their writers are involved in and not do those parts.
Okay.
So they still want to do the show, but not those parts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And maybe this is a contractual issue, so it's not something that could come to fruition. And far be it for me to tell people what to do with their own money. But if Bill Maher, who I'm assuming is well compensated, if Bill Maher really wants some of his writers back, why wouldn't you bring a few back on your own dime and just pay him out of pocket?
Because it's not about money though. It's
it
is.
They would be crossing. Would they be crossing like a?
That's what I was wondering.
Line, technically.
Scabs.
Yeah. Okay.
Keith Olbermann has already weighed in on Bill Maher.
Of course.
He called him an unfunny hack. He's known him since 1978.
Okay. So Bill Maher hates Aaron Rodgers Keith Olbermann hates Aaron Rodgers and Bill Maher.
I mean, Keith Keith Olbermann has done his show in the past and vice versa, so I'm not sure what happened.
The irony of Keith Olbermann calling anybody a hack is
Yeah.
really interesting.
Well put.
Yeah, I just look, these shows, if they want to come on, I'm sorry. Like, I feel for the writers. I do. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA. Full disclosure.
Okay.
I'm a member. I'm not striking, and nobody on this station is striking, or you'll be fired. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give you feed forward later. So, like, I understand what they're going through, but, like, at the same time, like, it's been 5 months.
I know.
There's no end of this in sight.
This is like Bud Light's demise. It's been going on forever now.
So if you want to continue doing this, you know, maybe Bill Maher does the Club Random thing he does, his podcast. Maybe he does that more on HBO, where it's just him riffing with a couple guests.
Or he could also hire writers that are not part of SAG-AFTRA, right?
That's a no-no.
Oh, is that a
that's
no-no?
a huge no-no.
Oh, okay.
He would really be. He would get no sympathy if he did that from the Hollywood crowd.
All right.
Which I guess you still have to placate at this.
Gotcha. This has been going on now for more than 100 days.
Well, there apparently during the Drew Barrymore show.
Yeah, she irked a lot of people, apparently.
So, allegedly, two people had SAG or AFTRA strikes or shirts on, and they were removed from the audience. So, I don't know.
All right.
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't really care about the strike.
No.
I mean, it doesn't affect me.
No, I think most Americans will just move on to something else.
Yeah.
If they haven't already left those shows anyway. All right, 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. 7:45 right on the dot. Let's get to a Thursday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
And we have no writers here, by the way. This is all put on by the five of us.
That's correct.
What's on the Cut Sheet brought to you by Cherry Hill Volvo, where Costco members save even more. Purchase a certified 2020, 2021, or 2022 XC40 or XC60 or XC90 and receive an additional $1,500 off. All for being a listener of Kayal Company. That's all you have to do. Go to Cherry Hill Volvo today, right there on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Tell me you heard about them at 1210 WPHT. All right. Did you know now that Democrats hate the word impeachment?
Well, they hate everything, so I guess impeachment falls under everything.
So before, when they were impeaching somebody they don't like, impeachment good. Impeachment good for democracy, good for the country. Now that we're having an impeachment inquiry,
it's a threat to democracy.
It's a threat to democracy. It's going nowhere. It's a big nothing burger. They have no evidence.
It's racist. It's going to cause more climate change, the whole bit.
Here's a little montage put together by our friends at Grabian. This is Cut 1, Daniel.
You know, the president has been in politics for a long time, and I think, as he would say, he's seen a lot of malarkey along the way, but this might take the cake.
This is all smoke and no fire. What a waste of time and money. I don't see any probable cause here. There's just no evidence.
I have not seen any evidence. There's no evidence of any crime at all.
No evidence so far that ties Joe Biden to any of this, at least nothing that they have brought forward and that we have seen.
Have you seen said evidence?
No, not a scintilla of evidence.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has engaged in wrongdoing.
No business dealings of Hunter Biden's or anyone's was discussed in these conversations.
I think they're making it up.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed an impeachable offense.
A substantial majority of Americans believe something which is not true.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed a crime.
You got to have a crime. Like you got to have some accusation you can make, and they don't really have anything right now.
I think the impeachment inquiry is absurd.
I think that that's absurd. It's ridiculous, of course.
This is part of the right wing's misinformation machine to try to confuse people.
Distract, distort, and dissemble. Right now, we're in the distract phase.
What Hunter Biden may or may not have done does not even come close to the level of legal drama that's facing the former president of the United States.
There's 91 criminal charges against Donald Trump right now, 13 criminal charges against Congressman Santos, who was just on the show a few moments ago. They have nothing to say about that. There are no charges against Joe Biden, and they want to impeach the guy.
Trump was impeached, so was Biden. You know, Trump was investigated, so was Biden. There's corruption.
This is an illegitimate impeachment inquiry. Period. Full stop.
This could benefit President Biden. This could end up having ramifications for Republicans if voters who don't really want to see these kinds of inquiries all the time feel like this is going too far.
The American people want us to do something that will make their lives better, not go off on these chases and witch hunts.
There we go.
You know,
Witch hunt.
Much like everything on the left with identity politics, they all think and say the same exact talking points. They just all look and sound different. You know, it's interesting. You talk about the word impeachment. You know, the Washington Post, I saw this yesterday. The Washington Post had a column on January 17th, 2017, right as Trump was being brought in to start his first term, about starting the impeachment process. The guy hadn't actually stepped foot in the White House, and they were beginning to start the impeachment process. So the nerve and the audacity of the Democrats. Just remember, as I said yesterday in the Big Take, they started it first. So two can play this game.
Nancy Pelosi was on with Anderson Cooper last night. They were discussing Joe Biden, re-election, his age, all kinds of good stuff. When Anderson Cooper asked if Kamala, Vice President Kamala Harris, is the best person to run with Biden.
Yeah.
It's very interesting what her answer is. And he presses her on it, and then she answers it in the same fashion. And I want to get both of your opinions on what this means. This is cut 9, Daniel.
It's for me to go there. It wasn't up to David Ignatius.
Is Vice President Kamala Harris the best running mate for this president?
He thinks so, and that's what matters. And
I
by
don't,
the
but he
way,
does.
she's very politically astute. I don't think people give her enough credit. She's, of course, values-based, consistent with the president's values and the rest. And people don't understand she's politically astute. Why would she be vice president if she were not? But when she was running for attorney general in California, she had 6% in the polls. 6% in the polls. And she politically astutely made her case about why she would be good, did her politics, and became attorney general. So people shouldn't underestimate what Kamala Harris brings to the table.
She brings nothing to the table.
Do you think she is the best running mate, though?
She's the vice president of the United States. So when people say to me, well, why isn't she doing this or that? I said, because she's the vice president. That's the job description. You don't do that much. You're a source of strength, inspiration, intellectual resource, and the rest. I think she's represented our country very well at home and abroad.
Wow.
Okay, there's so much to pick
So
apart.
much.
You heard politically astute 3 times, and that's the first time you've ever heard Kamala Harris and politically astute in the same sentence in the history of broadcast television. That's number 1. Number 2, Nancy Pelosi basically saying the Veep is a figurehead and doesn't do a whole bunch of anything, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of goes around and shows up and waves and giggles, and Kamala's really good at that. But if she wasn't, she would not be the VP if she wasn't No, she's the VP because, as I've said on this show many times, she's the face of diversity, equity, and inclusion. She's the vice president because she's African American and she's a female. That's why she's there. Not because she has the political astuteness or the political chops.
Look, Nancy Pelosi, you can say what you will about her. She's awful. She's been in Congress for a bajillion years.
Yeah. She didn't take a page out of the Romney playbook.
But she is not, she's very, I'm going to use her word, she's very politically astute. She's very smart with what she says. She didn't answer that for a reason.
No.
Because she has no problem, because the next clip I'm going to play is about Trump. She has no problem talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Kamala Harris, somebody in her own party is like, well, he thinks she's the best choice.
You've got to think that of all the people in the Democratic Party, from all the way at the top, let's just work our way down age-wise, from Dianne Feinstein, if she even knows that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are alive, to Nancy Pelosi, to every Democrat in their 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s in Congress and Senate, whatever, collectively, they have to know that the two of them, Joe and Kamala, are just two completely inept over their head boobs, right?
Yep.
They have they don't have any support in that party. That's got to be the collective thought of everybody that's in politics on the D side. What a disgrace. But by the way, go ahead, Dawn.
No, and yet Democrats will come together. They'll figure out whatever it is. They always do. they'll come here to Philadelphia, right? They'll all have their little meeting, and then they'll figure out a plan. I just don't know, and going back to your columnist and, who writes this, I just don't know how that path looks because they can't, they don't want Kamala to, let's say they do a Nixon deal where they say, you're going to be impeached, so just do the wave at the chopper and say bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? Kamala becomes the president by default at that point, acting until the next election. I don't think they want that look.
No, because they won't win. If they trot her out to be the president, she would not win.
Her approval rating is lower than his.
Yes.
Right.
So I do think that Hunter Biden is his Achilles heel.
Mm-hmm.
And so
more so than the age and the state
yep,
the state of
that'll
his
be
cognitive
the only
decline?
reason is
Okay.
Hunter to protect, because that's just his
if
absolute Achilles heel.
If I'm a Democrat, and let's just say I'm a registered Democrat and I typically vote D, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, how do I rank my concerns? The way I'm wired, Joe's mental state is more of a concern for me as a Democrat than Hunter Biden's drama and business dealings. If I was a Democrat thinking the way I typically think, because at the end of the day, we've seen the polls that said Trump or Biden, the scandals, it doesn't really seem to do much for the average voter out there when it comes to impacting their decision. But Joe's mental state, I feel like, is a bigger factor. But the biggest factor of all should be the economy. It should be, right? That's the number one. And that's what Republicans have to get right. Dawn, you always talk about get your act together, GOP.
Mm-hmm.
You should be hammering home with a mallet and every other piece of tool, every other tool in the toolbox, left and right, day after day. Economy.
Yep. If I were running things in the GOP, I would buy ads everywhere, and I would just create awesome ads, short, concise message about the economy, about what's going on. I would ask Paula Scanlon, Riley Gaines. I would show, but that takes money.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a ton of money, and I would buy ads everywhere and put them on the internet, on every show, on every streaming service, and just flood and just buy these ads because they're going to take the money.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to report it, so you can't rely on an honest media to just be fair and report all the sides.
That's correct.
That's the only way, in my humble opinion, that they could do this, but that takes a ton of money to do.
Yeah. The average American cares about three things: their health, their family, and their finances. If you don't have any health concerns, you feel good. If your family is doing fine, you feel good. And then you look at your finances. And if your finances stink, well, who's to some extent or to most of it directly responsible for it? Bidenomics.
Yep. But they have to get that message out there and show what is actually happening. At the same time, calling out the way that the media is either biased by omission or just saying, oh, Bidenomics is great. And and right now, another huge issue is if UAW strikes, what is that, 150,000?
Yes.
Talk about union.
Saw
That's
that
the strike everybody's going to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was also asked about a Trump second term, and she says, let's not engage in nightmare scenarios. This is Nancy Pelosi on with Anderson Cooper last night. Cut 10, Daniel.
If there was a second Trump term, what would that actually look like? Because the former president said just the other day, he said if elected again, he would tell his attorney general to indict his political opponents.
Look, let's not engage in nightmare scenarios.
It's a potentially very realistic scenario.
No, well, who am I to say? I never thought he would be elected the first time. Who would vote for such a person who said such horrible things about women and
me tweets?
You told a reporter from New York Magazine a couple of weeks ago that you think would be a criminal enterprise in the White House.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I mean, you just described one. You just described one.
That's really what you think a second Trump term would be?
Yes, a criminal enterprise. He was engaged in one before.
How many shell companies?
His personal gain? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, why would you think that the President of the United States would make his first trip abroad to Saudi Arabia?
Not Ukraine, though.
At a time when we're concerned about Khashoggi, we're concerned about so many things, but why would he go to Saudi Arabia first unless it was unless it was something in it for him. But to say he was, what did he say? What did you just say? He was going to indict all of his political opponents?
He told a rally that he would tell his attorney general to indict his political opponents. I mean, that's
a banana republic without the banana. I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing.
Nancy could have just answered Anderson's questions with this soundbite.
Please don't bother me with such frivolity.
Yeah, please don't. Okay. I mean, you know, who do you think has more disdain for Trump, Hillary or Nancy? This would be a poll question. We'll put that up in the YouTube chat. Which female on the Democratic side of things despises Trump more, Hillary or Nancy? She is just, and she even admitted, well, I didn't think he would win the first time. He's got a legit chance to win. Look at all the polls right now. And again, you take polls with a grain of salt, but he's got a much better chance than I gave him credit for when we launched this show last October.
Some of her fellow Democrats even remember that challenger in her beloved San Francisco, which is in her district, which is a disaster, called her a corrupt oligarch. By the way, because look at how she has become so wealthy.
I know. What is her net worth? $121 million, I think.
Oh well, she's just a modest public servant.
Right.
Again, somebody who's been in politics her entire life, which has been 1 billion years.
But in her defense, if you're making $180,000, it only goes so far in the Bay Area. Very expensive place to live. That 180 goes a lot further in Biloxi, Mississippi, let me tell you.
She let the cat out of the bag when she says that she's not human. She's more reptilian. I kid you not. This is cut 11.
Because they were saying, it's in the rearview mirror. People don't care about the Dobbs decision. And I said to them, thanks a lot. Do you know? You don't even know what you're talking about. You're sitting someplace, and we're in the districts. And we know the power of that issue. It's a democracy issue. It's not just a choice issue. It's a freedom issue. It's a democracy issue. And it was a winning issue.
In fact, I remember interviewing you just before the election, and you were saying to me, I'm talking to people out there. I think it's going to be much better. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many people afterwards said to me, like, you know, of course she's going to say that. But
poor baby.
Yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian and cold-blooded. And go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more about...
Yeah, most Dems are cold-blooded reptilians.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you know what's amazing about her is, and we mentioned yesterday, she's going to be seeking re-election again at the age of 84. She actually looks like she's been in the sun more at 84 than Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper looks like his blood's been drained.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's worth $100 million.
That's what I thought.
And even within the last year, she and her husband, obviously she does it through her husband. Remember, and we talked about this, they had scooped up millions of dollars in some call options for stocks, you know, Google, Micron Technology, Roblox, and had defended it, saying we are a free market economy.
Right.
They should that Congress members should be able to buy it, but of course they get all that insider.
Of course, they're all insider trading. Yes, they're all criminals. You think they're just the most savvy investors in the market? Come on.
Yeah. Persistence over resistance on the YouTube chat says she admitted she's a lizard person.
Yeah.
Remember all those conspiracy theories about lizard people?
That's right.
She just admitted it.
Yes.
She's reptilian.
Yeah, most theories are actually true.
By the way, watch us right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button. We're only at 83 likes. I want to get to 100 likes, so please hit the like button. And if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. I have a visual that's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Oh, no.
A new term has dropped.
Okay. I thought it was a TikTok.
No. It is.
Oh.
There's a new term that's dropped, and you have to see the visual of it. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We played this clip earlier. I want to get back into it now. Mitt Romney announced that he will not seek re-election. He says it's time for a new generation of leaders. This was part of his announcement last night, and then he took some questions from the press as well. This is cut 7, Daniel.
I've spent my last 25 years in public service of one kind or another. At the end of another term, I'd be in my mid-80s. Frankly, it's time for a new generation of leaders. They're the ones that need to make the decisions that will shape the world they will be living in. Now, we face critical challenges: mounting national debt, climate change, and the ambitious authoritarians of Russia and China. Neither President Biden nor former President Trump are leading their party to confront those issues. On deficits and debt, both men refuse to address entitlements, even though they know that this represents 2/3 of federal spending. Donald Trump calls global warming a hoax, and President Biden offers feel-good solutions that make no difference to the global climate. On China, President Biden underinvests in the military, and President Trump underinvests in our alliances. Political motivations too often impede the solutions that these challenges demand. The next generation of leaders must take America to the next stage of global leadership. While I'm not running for re-election, I'm not retiring from the fight. I'll be your United States Senator until January of 2025. I will keep working on these and other issues, and I'll advance our state's numerous priorities. I look forward to working with you and with folks across our state and nation in that endeavor. It really is a profound honor to serve Utah and the country.
All right, there you go.
All right, it's enough of Mitt. Finally, a dinosaur that taps out, realizes he's too old. You know, it'd be interesting, and he's still clearly with it. He looks in good health, sounds very politically astute and sharp, unlike Kamala Harris. You know, politics aside and what you think about the guy within the Republican Party and, you know, where he slides, you know, rhino to conservative to right wing or anything like that. It's been so fitting because we have spent so many shows over the last 2 or 3 weeks talking about age and fit to serve and term limits and max age. I would love, you said that there was some Q&A after. I would love to know if anybody asked him and pressed him. Maybe Chuck Todd was there and asked him 3 different ways. I'm kidding. If he thinks there should be term limits or a max age, because we don't want the Dianne Feinsteins of the world, the Joe Bidens, the Pelosi's, even the Fettermans in their 50s that can't serve following a stroke. Like, we've talked about this so much, so thank God that we actually get somebody that says, you know what, I'm going to be in my early to mid-80s if I get reelected. It's too late. It's time to get. We need fresh blood is what we need. We really do.
Well, to that point, he's asked about not seeking re-election. He says, I just don't think that we need another person in their 80s. This is cut 3.
Trump critic. Do you feel like with him likely being on the ballot next year, it would give you trouble running for re-election?
You know, there was a recent poll in Utah which had me showing some very strong numbers. I was very pleased to see that. I think the people in Utah don't all agree with me on the posture I took with regards to Donald Trump, but they respect people who vote their conscience, and I appreciate that in my fellow citizens. And I don't have any question in my mind that if I'd have run again, I just don't think that we need another person in their 80s. I'm a little long of tooth already. We don't need more like me. The issues of the day relate to China, climate change, AI, and a lot of guys in their 80s who know how to deal with those issues.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. Not only do we need younger people, we need people that are not career politicians. I wish there were more people like Trump that were dipping their toes in the water, or hell, dipping their toes in, taking a swan dive head first into that world.
But if Trump wins, he'll be in his 80s when he finishes.
That's true.
Yeah, but, you know, let's be honest. I know we mentioned this earlier, but Romney was going to, he was facing being primaried and losing. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want to end his very long political career, you know, as losing it, being primaried. So this is also a political decision.
Dawn sent us something during one of the commercials about an hour and a half ago when we were talking about Romney in the 6 o'clock hour. The Gallup final election survey poll, which was on November 4th, 2012, had Romney leading Obama 49 to 48%.
Which just shows you how wrong those polls are, because Romney got trounced.
He did.
I mean, just obliterated.
He did.
But look at the chain of, like, I sent you guys all my little research in there. There was a bunch, but the headlines were how Hurricane Sandy was that turning point. That's why, to this day, a lot of conservatives and Republicans cannot forgive.
So you're
New Jersey.
Wait, hang on.
You're
telling me that, you know, let's I know it's been exaggerated over the years as him hugging Obama. That actually never happened. But you're telling me that Christie with Hurricane Sandy completely changed the election in 2012?
I think, in truth, it was the hurricane itself giving Obama that moment of a crisis to look very presidential and gave him that platform. That's true.
As he's seeking re-election.
as he was seeking re-election. That's correct. But he, I think that whether you say it's Hurricane Sandy, I think that Governor Christie, former Governor Christie, he's an it's all about him, and he's an opportunist. And so it was his moment to be there with Obama. He defends it to this day. If we asked him, and I think over the years he defends it and says, hey, I was governor of New Jersey. I did what was best for New Jersey, and I wanted as much money as I could get for my state that I represented. That's how he says it. But I think that there was an opportunity for Chris Christie to embrace, maybe, not physically, there was an embrace where Christie was absolutely, just sucking up to Obama. And all those images went out, and he praised him. And there was, and so if he had taken the moment to be more supportive of Romney, could that have been a platform for Romney? Absolutely. But I think it was a game changer. I do.
He was asked about
Romney looked weak.
There's no question. I don't know how we went from, and I mentioned this in the 6 o'clock hour, and I'll bring it up again. In 2012, I was at the station, and there was a rally for Mitt Romney in Bucks County, I think out in Newtown. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of people in a field for a Mitt Romney rally. Thousands. And if you looked out at that, you would have been like, this guy has this election in the bag, because there were so many people in a battleground state. And then fast forward 10 years, 11 years later, and he's persona non grata in the Republican Party. I'm just saying, like, this is, he was the savior to beat Obama in 2012, and now he's persona non grata. So, like, what happened? What changed there?
Should we be surprised, though, over 11 years? I mean, it wasn't like he just went from where he was to where he is now.
Obama's still the savior of the Democratic Party.
Oh, still running the White House.
Well, I think that in part with Romney over and over, and again, I think he's a good man in his heart and soul. I'm not questioning his integrity as a human being. I'm simply saying that we talked about that debate with Obama, with Candy Crowley. We've talked about Hurricane Sandy. And since then, I mean, him crying, and I debate this with my husband because, when he broke down and cried when he voted for impeachment, I just think ultimately the American people have looked at him, and especially conservatives, that maybe he's too moderate, or that he's showing too much weakness in a time when conservatives need to deliver a punch because the media
He's on the complete opposite end of the spectrum of the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world and people like that.
He is. And part of this, again, I can't say it strongly enough, is because the media is so far left and complicit that I think conservatives feel like you've got to be tough, you've got to be strong, because if you don't support us and if you're mushy, then we're going to get nowhere, because they're going to just stomp all over your head.
Well, let me just say this: we always talk about the party shifting. The Democrats go too far left, the Republicans go too far right. In my lifetime, since I've been paying attention, the two biggest figures in the Democratic Party have been Clinton and Bush. Clinton and Obama.
Obama. Yep.
That is still true today.
More so Obama than Clinton, but, Hillary's still lingering and hanging around.
But if you go to Republican nominees, Bush, McCain, Romney, like, they're all persona non grata in the Republican Party.
Right. What's the Trump effect?
Okay.
I think conservatives are. I mean, we were even having this, this argument. Remember when I was being too critical of DeSantis, and people were saying that DeSantis is establishment. He's a swamp guy. He's not conservative. And I'm thinking, like, DeSantis is about as conservative as it gets, which is why a lot of people think he can't win because he's too conservative. So it's just.
So this is all a long-winded way of me bringing up this next clip. This is cut 6, where he talks about being a small wing of the Republican Party. This is cut 6, Daniel.
You can speak to where the Republican Party is now. When you look at the Republican Party, particularly where the House of Representatives is, do you feel like this is a Republican Party that is beholden to former President Donald Trump?
Well, there's no question but that the Republican Party today is in the shadow of Donald Trump. He is the leader of the greatest portion of the Republican Party. It's a populist, I believe, demagogue portion of the party. Look, I represent a small wing of the party, if you will. I call it the wise wing of the Republican Party. And I don't believe we're going away. I think ultimately we'll see a resurgence and come back into leadership of the party. Look, my wing of the party talks about policy and about issues that will make a difference to the lives of the American people. The Trump wing of the party talks about resentments of various kind and getting even and settling scores and revisiting the 2020 election. What are the policies for the future? And my party is only going to be successful getting young people to vote for us if we're talking about the future. And that's not happening so far in that other wing.
So he's sitting there saying it's wise. I think a lot of people would say it's a different word, a different W word, and it would be weak. But, he keeps sitting here talking about like the Trump revenge tour. And I think there is an element of truth to that. But you're sitting here talking about policy. Well, wait a minute. You're talking about accomplishments. Go back to 2019, 2018, 2017. Look at the economy. Look at how secure we were as a nation. No wars going on. The border. I mean, to sit there and act like Donald Trump did not accomplish things in the first 3 years of his presidency before 2020 turned into a freaking bleep show. Give me a break here. He's acting as if like Trump's just going to spend the next 4 years going after other people with indictments, to which I would say, well, look, as I said in the big take, they started it first. So... And a lot of people on the Republican side of things want a leader that will fight for them and not just roll over and play dead and play to the two-party system, or the uniparty, I should say.
Did you have tweets you wanted to read?
I do. Some instant feedback on the feed forward story is getting a lot of play on Twitter. Irk4088 says, imagine if Nick Sirianni said to the Eagles, listen up, I've got some feed forward. They would look at him like he has two heads. Hasn't Been Sober says, I refuse to contribute to the student loan of whoever came up with the word feed forward.
It's a very good point.
Hasn't Been Sober also says, Kamala couldn't bring anything good to the table if she were a waitress.
Oh, that's not right. That's true.
They did.
Joe Scarborough on his show yesterday said that every single Democrat he speaks to off air admits that Biden is too old to run. Talking about age again, this is cut two.
Everybody we talk to, every political discussion, it talks a lot about Trump, but when it comes to Joe Biden, people say, man, he's too old to run, isn't he? I mean, he's not really going to run. When I say every discussion, I don't mean 99% of the discussions. Every discussion. We got it. I asked Reverend Al if he was hearing it all the time on our show this past week. He's hearing it as well. So, we often will complain about Republicans who will say one thing about Donald Trump off the air and another on air. Well, let me just say, Democrats off the air will say Joe Biden's too old. Why is he running? On the air, they won't say that.
And again, they're talking, if you're not watching on YouTube, about the op-ed piece from the Washington Post columnist David Ignatius, who says President Biden should not run again in 2024. The 73-year-old columnist is known to be very, very connected in D.C. and with Biden and things like that. So, for me, again, it's not so much about the number. I think we get caught up in the number. It's what's behind the number. And with Joe, behind the number 81, it's like, what's the old adage? The keys are in the ignition, but nobody's behind the wheel. That's where, I think that's really where Joe is. Yeah. And that's not encouraging. You look at the economy, you look at the low approval rating, you look at the lack of popularity. I mean, the writing is on the wall. The only thing that leads me to believe that this won't be true and he still will run is the amount of money they just spent on their campaign, $25 million.
Yeah, I mean, all signs point to it is going to be Trump v. Biden. I mean, that is where all of this is headed. But you just see these polls with the unpopularity of both of them,
right?
And you're just like, well, can this really?
Well, and then also you look at the bench and you look at the depth. We have known that the Democrats' bench is very, very weak. Kamala's not going to get that spot. They don't want RFK Jr. He's too fringe. He's too loony. Gavin Newsom is kind of like their ace up their sleeve, but I don't think he's a foregone conclusion or a lock. But on the Republican side of things, we have said how deep that group is, from DeSantis to Scott to Haley to Ramaswamy, Pence, Christie, we'll go down further down the list. But now, I mean, Vivek just got crushed by, and you take it for what it's worth. It's this one isolated moment. Mehdi Hassan destroyed him. And DeSantis was supposed to be our Gavin Newsom to some extent. And DeSantis has had one of the most abysmal, based on what the expectations were for DeSantis compared to what he's actually delivered.
Yeah.
It's been a failure.
It has. It has, and you can see a lot of the donors backing away from him, and
Nikki Haley's got the arrow up right now more than anybody.
She does. She does. Yeah, but it's just she can't get through the primary,
and that's
it's
the
kind
tough
of a
thing.
moot point. You know what I mean?
We gave all those scenarios in those general election polls. Trump beats Biden by 1. DeSantis is tied with Biden, but Nikki Haley would beat Biden by 6 points.
Yeah. If you are not watching right now, go over to YouTube, youtube.com/at1210WPHD. You're gonna want to see this video. A new word just dropped. Feederism.
Feederism.
Feeder. F-E-E-D-E-R-ism.
So not a foot fetish,
No.
like feet.
So we had feedback that's gone. It's
Yeah.
feed forward, and now we have feederism.
Yeah, this is a new reason why people are fat.
What?
So feederism's high in calories, I guess?
It's a new, we can't, there's always emotional trauma, this, that, and the other, why people are obese. And this is a new one that I haven't heard. Leave it to TikTok to tell me about this. But you have to see the visual of this woman.
Oh boy,
she's very large. YouTube.com/at1210WPHT. But if you can't get there right now, you can hear the lovely audio. This is cut 5.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I was groomed into feederism. Feederism is a kink, like a sexual kink regarding feeding someone, generally for the purpose of them being fat or getting fat or gaining weight.
Can we pause that real quick? All right, so we've got she's using the same microphone that I'm actually using on the air right now.
Just stop.
Headphones on. So there's the hair's normal. It's not purple.
Yeah.
We have no nose ring.
I mean, she's
big.
Cute top.
She's she has a tie-dye top.
Tie-dye top, and
Peter says my eyes are burning.
Stop.
Let's put her in box 4 about
No,
this.
no, we're not.
Actually, I don't know if we can. Guys, we'll put her in box 3 and 4.
Don't.
Feederism. So okay.
I do think I'm gonna say I don't know what feederism is.
Well, she's gonna explain
So
it, but
food
yeah.
fetish.
But I'm just gonna say it's the processed foods, and our bodies don't know what to do with it, and we're just giving kids.
She
No,
said
it's
this.
not that?
She said that it's a sexual thing.
Oh, they get
that
pleasure out of this.
people want to feed you, so you get so fat that you die.
So it's like gluttony. One of
I
the
guess
7 deadly
so.
sins.
How is that?
I'm just going by what she says. Daniel, can we start this over?
You will
please?
eat that bowl of SpaghettiOs because it arouses me. Keep going.
Basically, it's what she's saying.
Yeah.
She's saying she was groomed.
Uh-huh.
She was groomed into feederism.
Okay.
By the way, this is on. This
Like
is
as a child?
This is some of the. Yeah, this is some of the stuff. The great content you can get on TikTok.
Yes.
So
I'm
another
going
reason
to create an account as soon as I get home today.
Bubba45 says she needs all 4 boxes. I mean, that's just not. That's
well,
just
I'm
not
just going
right.
to go box 3 and 4.
All right, I'm going to start over with cut 5 here, Daniel.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I was groomed into feederism. Feederism is a kink, like a sexual kink regarding feeding someone, generally for the purpose of them being fat or getting fat or gaining weight. There's a big umbrella when it comes to feederism. And the thing about this guy is I think he was into what's called death feederism. And death feederism is what it sounds like. It's feeding someone to the point of getting so fat and so big that they die.
Okay. So
What the hell is that?
Was she in a relationship with a guy that kept force feeding her? Or?
Apparently, that's how
Okay.
she got to be enormous.
So
she is enormous.
One takeaway here with the name Rosie, by the way.
Oh boy.
You know,
There's
I said
an easy song about this, by the way.
I said months ago when we were talking about Tom Brady and John Fetterman, both who were married to a lady named Giselle, that I've never seen a Giselle that was ugly. I think all Giselles usually are typically pretty hot. I've never seen a Rosie that's attractive.
that's not right.
I'm thinking Rosie
Come on.
O'Donnell.
Stop it.
Stop.
I'm thinking
Stop.
Roseanne.
Stop.
My mom was Rosemary. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
beautiful.
That's different.
Duffy,
I love the name Rose.
Duffy Domino on the YouTube chat says, "Feed so you die." That's murder, isn't it? Yes, yes, that's murder. So apparently it's murder. You groom this. So
unless they're forcibly doing it to you and you have no other option, that's not on that person. That's on you. No, thank you. I'm full.
Chuck Doherty says she should be talking about saladism.
I mean, she's really. Right. I mean, she's. What is that? You think 320 there?
I'm looking at research on this, and I wish somebody who's a psychiatrist or psychologist. Apparently, in research, this is a thing. It's coercive control.
Over who? Another person?
A form of abuse. So it's maybe parental abuse or relationship abuse. It's actually a thing. Like in psychology, I've never heard of this.
So this is not like letting your kid keep going back to the snack drawer every 2 hours for another tasty cake. This is like a forcible that you gain pleasure out of, basically plumping somebody up.
I guess it's mental. It's viewed in the world of psychology.
Well, it's
as
TikTok. It's all mental.
Mental and physical abuse, but it's an actual thing. I've never heard of this in my life.
So apparently, you guys both remember the movie from the late '90s, Seven.
Yeah, they put the guy in the with his face down in the SpaghettiOs,
Yep.
and he was tied to the chair.
Yep.
He was the gluttony, one of the 7 deadly sins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was an actual thing. But like, so I'm
Actually,
confused.
yeah, it is a thing now.
You
that I
go
think about
to like you feed somebody so much that they get so fat that they die. Like
I
what?
guess.
That's,
Well, eventually-
you're really playing the long game.
But that's
with that,
the long.
aren't you?
Well, that's the long game. But I would imagine if you keep making somebody eat in a one, let's call it a session, that eventually, I mean, your body's got to like you're eventually full, and you like. I think only dogs are the only animal that basically don't know when they're full.
Well, I mean, Trish has the point that I want to make. Like, what? Nobody.
I mean, she seems to be at like her free will right here. Like she's on TikTok in a studio.
Nobody puts you, like nobody forces you to eat something and then swallow it. Like you can put something in your mouth, spit it out, put something in their mouth.
Yeah.
But like, how do you force somebody to swallow something?
Right.
But I guess that it's considered a form of abuse, and also there are two different things: feedism and binge eating disorder.
Yeah, I've heard of binge eating.
This is new to me.
I
I've heard of binge eating.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of this stuff.
I just feel like we have all of these excuses of why people are obese these days.
Yeah,
It,
we
like,
just have
there's-
too many excuses. Period.
It's mental health. It's trauma.
I know.
It's racism.
Well, I've got actually.
Now it's feederism.
I have a story, and I was going to get to this later in the week, but there is a story out that a therapist has come out and said that Gen Z goes to TikTok and they take pleasure in sharing their pain of trauma.
Yes. That is the epitome of what this is.
Which I have said on this show, TikTok is the home of mental health, and I say that tongue in cheek, but to some extent. But I really do believe it. And yeah, right here. So we've cited studies before from this website, studyfinds.org.
Yep.
Trauma is trendy. Therapist says Gen Z embraces sharing their pain on TikTok. And there's a whole story about it. We could get into it a little bit later if you guys want, or tomorrow's show. But this is true. Like what we're playing here, certified therapists,
Yep.
people that are smarter than us,
Yep.
say it's a thing.
Well, I don't know. Part of me thinks if she got out of an abusive relationship or childhood and she's working her way through that, on one hand, I can see where sometimes talking about things, if there were an actual psychiatrist with this woman, I would think that's a good thing. But on the other hand of it, I do think that just talking about something without a solution is, I mean, I guess it's therapeutic, but to your point, you don't just want to think, well, I'm doing something by just talking about something, and then saying that the way that the unhealthy result of that abuse is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think we have to look towards solutions, and that's the criticism I'll have of this. But I dated this guy years ago, just out of college, and he always was trying to change who I was. I have straight dark hair. He wanted me to have curly hair, and you know what I mean? So like some guys do, they're like, you should gain weight. You're too skinny. You're too this, or women to men. So
Wait, guys tell women they should gain weight?
Yeah, gain weight or lose weight.
Well,
So for me, I was like too skinny. My hair was too straight. If somebody doesn't love you the way you are, guess what?
Did you punch him?
And I broke up, and
Good.
it was
Well,
it was
obviously.
a smart, right? It was
Yeah.
smart, but sometimes young, especially if you're younger, like high school or college, somebody needs to say break up with that person.
Did he have a
And-
problem with you cutting the grass too much? Dawn, you're not going to cut the grass.
QJ on the YouTube chat says feederism is another word for growing up in an Italian family.
Well, that's true. An Irish family, like if you were the youngest in a huge family,
Yeah.
but they say finish your plate.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say that you were trained to do that, and then that's not good either.
Valdez says I should go into feederism.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, you should just eat something, dude.
So there you go. Feederism, another excuse why people are fat.
I've never, but it actually, I would love to hear from an actual doctor on this because apparently it's a diagnosis.
Okay.
I've never heard of
It's
it.
in the DSM-4.
I just think the problem with a lot of this stuff is, okay, if she's talking about something and educating it, then have a psychiatrist or psychologist who says, hey, if you've been in an abusive relationship or you have any of these things, let's get you healthy mentally and physically, and let's deal with this and educate society.
Yeah.
Rather than just continuing to talk about it and then you just wallow in the result of that abuse and being unhealthy.
I'll tell you what, if you're a therapist and you're looking to build your clientele and build your business, just go to TikTok.
Yeah.
And just send all these people messages and do like virtual Zoom counseling with these people.
Well, Daniel brings up a good point. Isn't it just a fat fetish? You know, like
And that's a thing,
they
too.
have they have chubby chasers. You know.
Yeah. There's some I bet you this what is her name again? I forget.
Rosie.
Rosie.
Yeah.
I bet you Rosie has so many date offers. I'll bet you there are people who are just like obsessed with her now and
Ugh.
going online.
Yeah, I saw her on Match.com. It took me 3 swipes to get past her.
Come on.
Stop.
All right.
Did you see the woman in New York City and she walks around with a sign and says, looking for a husband, searching for a husband?
Oh, really?
And this
No.
went viral.
Interesting. No, I didn't see that. Although at this rate, I might be
Looking for
looking,
love?
I might be looking for a husband too soon.
A sugar daddy?
Yeah, I might take one.
All right, that's what I got.
That's it. That's what Stalker has. 8:30 for what's on the cut sheet here on a Thursday morning. All right, we'll come back. We'll get Dawn's big three, and then speaking of, well, look, she's never rosy, but she is AOC, and apparently Lauren Boebert was not too rosy in a public setting. We will get to these two females on the other side when we come back. Dawn's big three as well. Kayal and Company as we continue live on a Thursday.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsnu.com/fight-ILD.
The New Jersey Transit Police Department reminds you that we all need to work together to keep our transit system safe. Be alert and aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD. New Jersey Transit urges you to help us keep our transit system safe. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. The QC Kinetics can change your life. Now, I know that's a strong statement, but it really is a game changer. And you can live again without all that chronic joint pain that's keeping you down. And that means physically and mentally, right? And this is without drugs, without surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. So they take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them directly into your joint. And that restores and repairs that damaged tissue that's causing all of your horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are awesome. They're astonishing. A real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. So unlike surgery, there is no downtime with QC treatments. If you're suffering with that constant pain, you're waking up with it, you're dealing with it throughout the day, it's in your knees, your hips, your aching shoulder, or your back, you need to call QC Kinetics and then just get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Do this for yourself today. Imagine this fall, and we start today with this refreshing, beautiful fall-like weather, just moving around pain-free, doing everything you love again, whether it's walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids or with the kids, heading to, it's high school football season, right? Or whether you're headed to the big game tonight, just call QC Kinetics. See how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine attacks your pain and then brings you lasting relief. It's the best time to get started right now. They're right here in the Philadelphia region. Just do this. Trust me. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. Best decision you're going to make for you. 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
.36 Kayal Company, Thursday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Are we getting towards where you need to be? 200 likes, 100 likes? Any of your century marks that you typically shoot for each day? Which, by the way, too, don't forget, the Kayal Company merchandise.
Oh, yes.
Is available.
It is.
We got all sorts of stuff for you.
Yeah, that's just go to 1210WPHT.com, and up on the upper right-hand corner, you can go to the merch store.
Yeah.
Purchase all your merch there.
All your swag.
Yeah.
Sweatshirts, T-shirts, coffee mugs, so forth and so on. Coming up 9:20, morning mystery movie clip. Great prize. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. And closing in just about an hour and 13 minutes away, 9:50 this morning, another keyword will be given to you. You take that keyword, you go to 1210WPHT.com, buy your swag, buy your merchandise, but enter that keyword for a free trip to Walt Disney World, which we'll be doing every day for the month of September.
By the way, we're at about 142 likes right now, so if you're watching right now on the YouTube channel, please hit the like button so we can get to 200 likes, and also please hit the subscribe button. We're closing in on 4,500 subscribers, which is huge. So if you haven't done so yet, you're watching or you're listening right now, please hit the subscribe button.
Yes. We've got drama with AOC. We've got drama with Lauren Boebert. But right now we go to somebody who has no drama, but just lots of news. The great Dawn Stensland for the Big Three at 8:38.
It's the Big Three at 8 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 8, sponsored by ShopRite of Drexeline in Drexel Hill. So this morning, other headlines that we have not talked about. Brutal, newly released census numbers showing Philadelphia is number one, but in a bad way. Philadelphia's poverty rate worst in the nation. Worst.
Okay.
Of the major big cities. And the news gets worse when you look at these numbers and look through it for black and brown Philadelphians. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it along racial lines, and this is the Census Bureau, these are the federal government, the federal statistics right across the line there, showing that 1 in 4 black Philadelphians, nearly twice as high as white residents, 1 in 4, 25% are living in poverty, complete poverty.
And yet somehow we still live in basically a one-party city. Very interesting. Okay.
And then you look at for Hispanic residents living in poverty, that's about 12.7%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about the rate, little better than that, slightly better for white residents. But horrible numbers as I look through this. They're saying that the median household incomes did grow slightly last year, but when you factor in Bidenomics, inflation, then it levels that. It just takes away any growth.
Away. Yeah. Do you have the other cities by chance? Because I would love to guess the top 5. I was going to say Philadelphia would certainly be top 3. You said it's at number 1, so that's interesting. I would guess Detroit has got to be top 3 or top 5 as well.
So actually, I think Houston comes to a close second, believe it or not.
Okay.
So it's Philadelphia, Houston, San Antonio, then New York, Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Phoenix.
Atlanta?
I'm trying to look here.
Boy, she didn't even say Detroit. I was way off. Swanson, Sampson. I knew it started with an S.
But Philadelphia, far and away, so the top, let's take you to Los Angeles. If you go Philadelphia, almost 22%, then Houston, then San Antonio, then New York at 18.3%, then Dallas, 17.8%, then Chicago, 17%, and then Los Angeles, almost 17%.
Okay.
Then it drops, way off a cliff there. But all of these numbers, if you look at the poverty rates, even though we can look at, and that's where it gets sticky when you look at stats, because we've experienced some growth post-pandemic, but the problem is the inflation, the Bidenomics. And this, as earlier this morning, and again, some people will say, well, you didn't talk about the CPI, you didn't talk about the latest economic numbers. As we wait for other numbers, President Joe Biden is expected to give an economic outlook news conference today. But as they give the numbers, it's easy to spin the numbers because we're post-pandemic, right?
Yep.
So if you're doing horribly post-pandemic, everything you can say, oh, we're up 150%.
Right.
Well, let's compare apples to apples.
That's correct.
But and that's why I think part of this, and it's so important to talk about, it's what people are feeling. And that's part of the reason I think these poll numbers that Nick Kayal has focused on this morning are so important, because the officials can say and spin whatever they want.
That's correct.
But when we feel it in our city and people can't afford to, I see it even in the suburbs. You'll see people and the kids, shopping with your twin girls.
Right.
And they're putting everything in the cart. And I see moms and they're taking stuff out of the cart.
Yep.
When they get up to the checkout line, not just because the kids snuck it in there, but because everything is so much more expensive.
Front page of the New York Post today, Bidenomics isn't working. Median household income falls to $74K, $4,000 less than 2019. Inflation still at 3.7%, and gas prices. Just yesterday, I think I was $3.98 a gallon. I see $4 a gallon, I almost want to puke.
Yeah.
I really do.
So it is brutal. And then on top of this, one of the other major headlines, of course, is the UAW. And the United Auto Workers putting out a statement. They're poised to go on strike, and putting out a statement that the Democrats have abandoned them, that the Democrat Party has abandoned them. So this is dire. And how much would that cost the U.S. economy? They're estimating that a 10-day strike, let's say, $5 billion. And so that's just a 10-day outlook on that one. So some bleak economic news this morning. And then I'll take you to New Jersey, where we've been covering, of course, all of the stories about wind power projects and those turbines, the impact of it, the controversy, and not just the environmental impact that's a concern with whales and dolphins, coming ashore and dying. But now the news that 2 major offshore wind power projects are moving forward now in New Jersey as the owners of one of the projects agrees to bring the federal government in on their environmental monitoring plans at a much earlier stage than has been done before.
Okay.
And so they're trying to mitigate some of the criticism from the communities.
Some instant feedback here, if you guys will. Beach Chair says on Twitter, and I guess you're the new guy, Nick.
Yeah, well, Beach Chair doesn't like me.
Yeah,
he doesn't like me for a year.
He doesn't like me either. He says, until you move into Philly, you don't get to comment on our poverty levels. The new guy's comments reek of rules for thee, not for me, with his last shot at our residents in poverty.
Yeah. Well,
so
there's
you don't get
zero.
to comment.
Well, let me just give a little spoiler alert to Beach Chair. I will never live in the city of Philadelphia. Okay.
But you did, you experienced it.
Yeah, I went to Temple.
As a temple in North Philadelphia.
Exactly right.
Spending years of your life and experiencing that.
Mhm.
So, and you work. We work here.
I've been on the station for 20 years. I've never lived in the city of Philadelphia.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm as Philly as they get, and
Yeah.
I do not live in the city of Philadelphia. But
why don't you fold up your chair, Beach Chair?
Yeah.
But thank you for listening, even though you hate me for an entire year.
I'm sure a guy in Kansas City though can comment on Philadelphia.
Yeah. Well, now he can focus on his morning show and not his midday show. I'm sorry.
The Beach Chair creation of that is funny because it's making fun of Chris Christie with that beach chair, right? When he shut down the beaches, and he was such a hypocrite. But I will say this about Philadelphia, that I think it's a badge of honor to get tough criticism. I mean, think about even Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you come in and nobody comes into Philadelphia and is instantly loved.
Right.
I really think think about.
Well, except me when we launched this show.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
But
what I'm saying.
But to your point with Trey Turner, by the way,
since
he received that standing ovation.
But it wasn't at first. He got booed.
No, of course not. It's because he wasn't playing well.
So you got to earn the love. It's a tough love.
Since then, he's hitting .388, 16 home runs, and 41 RBIs since August 4th. All right, that's enough sports.
Oh no! You talk sports.
It was an
the analytics
analogy.
are going to go down.
The metrics are going to dip.
No! I would love to see the metrics of the channel changing.
Does that make you happy, Fred?
Oh
Will
my
it?
God! Oh my God! Sorry, Dawn.
This is still Dawn's big three, by the way.
Oh, so that was number 3, and so we're just updating you on that the wind turbine situation.
Yeah.
They've gotten a ton of tax breaks in New Jersey, big bucks, right? And this is something that is Governor Phil Murphy, is Joe Biden's. This is their baby pet project, and a lot of people who are suffering talk about Bidenomics and inflation in New Jersey, saying, "Wow, these huge wealthy companies are getting all of these tax breaks and all of this money." And this is in the courts. We can't even go through all the court cases, but I'm just saying, too, these projects now moving forward, and they skirt some other issues because now they're saying, okay, you can monitor it.
Right.
Monitor it. So that's the latest important headline. All right, let's get to the brand new ShopRite, our sponsor of Drexel-Line. It's now open, Drexel Hill. So this is the supermarket you've been waiting for. Incredible sales, so important in this economy, right? Savings, surprise guests, giveaways, and so much more. You got to check it out. The brand new ShopRite of Drexel-Line right there at 5000 State Road in Drexel Hill. Delco, now open daily. So thank you, ShopRite of Drexel-Line in Drexel Hill. That's the big 3 here on Kayal Company.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 8:47 Thursday morning. We got a lot to get to. Let's get to these two stories surrounding AOC and the Bobes. Lauren Boebert.
The Bobes.
Yeah. Apparently there's video out there of Lauren Boebert, who was, and if you don't know who Lauren Boebert is, Republican representative from Colorado, very beautiful lady, by the way. She was thrown out of a Beetlejuice musical because she was causing a visual distraction. She was allegedly vaping in the theater. And she played the big time card.
Oh, boy.
So I don't know if it's like the old days where they had the usher comes up there and shines the flashlight on you, like when you were making out with your girlfriend in the back row of a movie theater. And she's like, "Do you know who I am?" And apparently that guy didn't care and tossed her.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know there's footage of this, but do we actually know that she said, "Do you know who I am," or is this just like a...
That's according to, let's see here, the Denver Post. So let me just give you some of this. By the way, if Valdez can, I don't know if we have the video or if he could put it up, and maybe we can kind of analyze the film. You're doing stuff on YouTube again. This is a radio show. Representative Lauren Boebert was kicked out of her performance of Beetlejuice, the musical, on Sunday after she allegedly vaped, caused a disturbance, and asked staff, "Do you know who I am?" That is according to Denver 9 News, which obtained security footage and posted it on YouTube. So the video is out there if we could get it on YouTube and play it on our YouTube feed, which you can see in this link on Mediaite.com. According to the Denver Post, Boebert was escorted out of the performance in Denver along with one other person after 3 people made complaints about the Congresswoman being loud, taking photos on her phone, and vaping. Boebert was also accused of vaping during the performance, an accusation that the Congresswoman has denied. Apparently, Lauren Boebert is dating a business owner, a bar owner in Denver, and she is refuting the vaping allegations. But I could totally see this. Like, you can look it up on DuckDuckGo. I used to work with a guy who did a show in the evening on my old sports station who played the big time card when he was inebriated, took a taxi cab home, and didn't want to pay his fare.
Oh, boy.
And the taxi cab guy was like, "You got to pay for the ride, sir." And he said, "You know who I am?" So he pulled a Boebert.
Dawn, have you ever used the "Do you know who I am" card?
Never.
Stalker, have you?
No, because nobody knows who I am.
Have you listened to my stinking cut sheet? You're going to accuse me of vaping? Get out of here, Skippy.
Did Larry ever play the "Do you know who I am" card?
Never. Nope.
Okay.
It's not our style.
Yeah.
No,
Same here.
I'm just kidding.
I'm being serious, but I know people who have.
I'm not a Lauren Boebert fan, but
Oh, I am.
I take these stories with a grain of salt.
Really?
Because I think sometimes people,
egotistical politicians, you don't
well,
think they do that?
they're all egotistical. But I see these things sometimes, and I see people who may not like her and be like, "Oh, this is our chance to throw her out of here." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, a melee ensues, and she, acts the way she does, and then that's how this occurs. But
she posted on her feed, her Twitter, saying, "It's true. I did thoroughly enjoy the amazing Beetlejuice at the Buell Theater, and I pled guilty to laughing and singing too loud."
So that's all she said she was doing?
Well, she denies she denies that she was vaping, but it says in here the campaign manager is I think confirming that she did use her cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that she did use her cell phone to take a picture of the performance, which is a big no-no.
Right.
Is claiming that she was just unaware that photos were not allowed. You see people doing that all the time. It is a no-no.
But usually,
even at school plays.
Right.
Daniel has the video. He's going to put it
Okay.
up here. There we go.
They usually say that before a performance
They
begins,
do.
put your phones away. You're
Yep.
not permitted to video record or take pictures.
So she's being escorted out by a bold individual.
It's not me.
Her and her boyfriend, they're being asked to leave.
Yep. They go up the aisle.
Up the aisle.
They were probably about 8 rows deep, and now they're going up the row. It's probably got to be at least 35, 40 rows.
But you don't see,
She's got something. Look at the it's sort of black and white.
Oh,
with
now-
their surveillance video.
Oh, now here's the
Here we
color.
go. Coming outside.
She has.
Into the lobby.
Oh, is that the vape in her hand?
I think it's
It's
her.
the
Is it a
phone.
vape or a cell phone?
Looks
Oh,
like a
it's her cell phone. Okay.
Yep. Let's see here.
I mean, she looks lovely in the dress.
Oh, my goodness. Now, the audacity of that guy to kick her out. Forget if he knows her or not. That's what you do.
Yeah.
If I was the usher and I walked up to and I said, "Oh, hello." Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, my observation, because they're showing the surveillance video of the entire crowd, is that it's during a performance, and you see these two ushers who are walking down there, walking down in the aisle, and she has her phone. I can see her phone in her hand.
Yeah.
But my problem with it is, I mean, these are two big guys who are like blocking people.
Yeah.
And so, and you see people in like 4 rows back, and they're like leaning because they're still the performance is going on. I would say these two ushers who are making them leave are actually causing much more of a distraction than her taking a picture.
I am starting the defund the ushers movement right here on this show. I will not have ushers permitted in any performance moving forward. I will have my own ushers at my own private setting to be a hypocrite like most of these defund the police activists. Which, by the way, this is a bigger story here. This is not just Boebert. Why can't people just adhere to rules at concerts, plays, and performances? Like, remember in the summer we were talking about all these musicians
You sound
that
so
were
old.
But like, remember people were throwing like objects at them all summer long.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
finally, some of these people were like, "You're not going to sit here and throw your phones at us."
I understand what you're saying, but you do sound like can't you just sit down and enjoy the performance?
Well, it's I don't. And I think
you do see her in that video. Look at her. She's in her hottie little dress and her 6-inch heels.
She looks amazing.
She looks gorgeous, first of all. But so she is all dressed up, and she is like doing the finger shake. You know what I mean? She's mad.
I think with this, Nick, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the usher wanted to make a scene because he didn't like her politically, and then she caused the scene back by doing the "Do you know who I am?"
Do we think the usher knew who she was, though?
Somebody did. I think, to me, I would not at all be surprised if this was totally political because somebody, either the person who complained about her and made claims about her, but ultimately the report said they're saying that she said stuff like,
Yep.
"Do you know who I am? I'm on the board. I will be contacting the mayor."
Yep.
So to say stuff like is not necessarily what did she actually say?
Oh, there's no doubt that she's a Karen. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I am taking video of this interaction.
Imagine getting into a fight with her.
Yeah.
I don't like.
But on the other hand, I mean, on this one, I do think that they really go after conservative women. And the fact that she's an attractive conservative woman.
Yeah,
you know, they want to make her look bad.
She is number one on my GOP female power rankings.
I agree. I agree with you on that, Dawn. But I also think that she definitely got bitchy.
Well, I would say feisty.
Okay, sure. I use bitchy, you use feisty. Fine.
Like Biaggi, right? But no, I just think I would be curious to know if there are any other witnesses in that crowd who saw what happened or heard what happened.
Yeah.
And did she actually say, "Do you know who I am?" Because you should never ever say that, no matter who you are.
Right.
Because it just never plays well. Yeah. But you see her. They even show through the surveillance video. They went to great efforts to show all this. That's the other piece of this. They went to great efforts to show all the surveillance video as she's walking like blocks and blocks. Somebody went and got all the surveillance video from all the sidewalks and all the buildings to show her, you know, walking away. So this is sort of to me, it's a little bit of a hit job.
All right.
Yep.
855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Final hour is on the way. We've got our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20 as well as our Disney keyword at 9:50. But 3 very interesting pieces of information in the world of COVID and the latest booster. We will give you those opinions and those statistics. It's very interesting. You're going to want to stick around for this, and we're back after this.
The NFL season is here. Now's the time to get incredible offers from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I love the FanDuel app. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props to whatever you want. Nick and I have a side bet going on for the Eagles-Vikings game tonight. I took the over at 48.5, and he took the under. You can bet on all kinds of things for the Birds tonight. FanDuel.com/Greg. Sign up right now. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. By the way, FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT in the NFL. NFL Sunday Ticket. Offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
We're introducing Wendy's newest addition to the morning lineup. Say hello to the Wendy's all-new English muffins. They're here and they're ready for breakfast. Choose between our tasty grilled sausage, a fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese, or that Applewood smoked bacon, fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese. All of that comes sandwiched between a warm English muffin. These English muffins are the perfect way to start the day. All you gotta do is pick one. Grab an English muffin for breakfast this morning. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The percentage of overdose deaths from stimulants laced with fentanyl has increased 50-fold since 2010, according to a study from the University of California. Masterman school teachers are suing the school district. They claim their pay was docked because they wanted answers about asbestos in their building. The FDA is warning about unapproved eye products being sold at drugstores.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
This is a great date night, and for tonight, a game night. If you're looking for some action, excitement, entertainment, Parks Casino and Sportsbook. As you know, the only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend. Great nightlife, whether it's game night or, like I say, just a date night. Award-winning dining. A special discount, by the way, for military, first responders, as well as our medical professionals. We appreciate you. Just experience the open-air Liberty Bell Beer Garden. Indulge in the delightful culinary experience at the all-new Bamboo, or head to Parks Grill, their signature steak house. So don't miss these top headliners coming soon to the X-Site Center at Parks, P-A-R-X. Pointer Sisters, Saturday, September 23rd. Buddy Guy, Friday, October 6th. And The Spinners, Friday, October 13th. Parks, the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment, plus free parking, valet parking, which I love, and electric vehicle charging stations for all guests, by the way. And for tonight, remember that please join me right now if you haven't downloaded the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers make that winning $10 bet, get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Must be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. The Bet Parks Sportsbook, the only one I ever recommend for all things Parks Casino. Just visit parkscasino.com, parkscasino.com. Do it, but must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control. You develop healthy eating habits that last you the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight. You will keep off the weight the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements. That's going to get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help keep the weight off. Locations throughout the East Coast are available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. njdiet.com, lose the weight for good.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
2 questions. Do you have a small business? Great. And do you have 5 minutes? Even better. You've got everything you need to start an application for quick, hassle-free financing from Capitus. We've helped more than 50,000 small businesses just like yours get competitive financing and the working capital they need in as little as 1 day. So, don't wait. Skip the red tape and get a decision today. Apply at capitus.com/radio. Go to kapitus.com/radio.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Kayal and Company, 9:04. Welcome back in Thursday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Morning mystery movie clip in about 15 minutes. We've also got our keyword, 950, for your chance once again to secure a trip to Disney World. Every single morning in the month of September, we will give you a keyword at 9:50. You go to 1210WPHT.com and enter it for your chance to win. A couple of good stories coming up in the world of, I hate saying the word now because it's so played out and it's attached to DeSantis, and I don't want to be attached to people that can't win. But in the world of wokeness, the police are now afraid of misgendering suspects. We're going to get to that story. And also, you can take a class to fight back against white supremacy at a college if you have a spare $200,000 to put down for it.
Wow, it's almost like this is a giant scam.
It's almost like it's a giant scam. Not $200,000 to get a Harvard 4-year degree, but just take a class on how to eliminate white supremacy.
Wow.
Which, if it's such a big issue, I would say, why don't you just teach it for free, right?
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of charging $200,000.
Exactly. It would be. What do they always say? The common good.
The common good.
The common good.
That is correct. And I've got some interesting stuff in the world of COVID that I want to get to as well. Mr. Ladapo, Joseph Ladapo in Florida, the Florida Surgeon General, has some interesting thoughts on the latest recommendation from the CDC to vaccinate and boost everybody from 6 months of age on up. And then also some really alarming statistics when it comes to the vaccine for teenagers. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But I do want to grab this call from Larry, who's in West Deptford, talking about the playing the big time card and do you know who I am? But Larry actually has accomplished a lot in his life. He's a retired New Jersey trooper, and he's with us this morning. Larry, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you? And by the way, thank you for all your service.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Just to comment on your topic there, I ran across a few of them in my day. And my common retort to every one of them was when they said to me, "Do you know who I am?" And I always say, "Why, don't you?" And that it always took them a little bit, and so that's
So
that was my favorite retort.
I'm guessing that in your days you might have either possibly pulled over a celebrity, an entertainer, a politician, an athlete, and they tried to play the get out of jail for free with the Who I Am card?
No, actually, no. I never had a famous person that actually did that to me. I stopped a few, but no, they were quite nice.
Okay, so it's just the average everyday person that's trying to play that with you.
Yeah, usually a politician, a local township individual, that sort of profession.
Okay. All right, Larry. Well, we appreciate the call. Thank you so much for listening.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
You got it. There's Larry in West Deptford. Yeah. I've never tried to play that card ever. Although when I came back up here last summer, and I think I said this on the air, this was probably in February or March, I got pulled over for, I don't know if it was either running I forget whatever. It was a minor traffic violation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I handed my card, my ID to the officer in Whitpain Township, he looked at it and he was like, "Oh, we listen to the show every day."
That's awesome.
And I wasn't trying to play most of the time, because when you're in radio, people hear your voice, and then if you're talking in a public setting, they might hear that voice and be like, that voice sounds
familiar. Yeah.
I over the course of 15 years, I've had that happen 4 or 5 times, and there's a few times where I don't even want to confirm, because I don't do it for the status or anything.
Yep.
I do it because I love it, but it's no, I sell insurance. No, I'm not Nick the radio guy.
Yeah,
I work for State Farm.
I always, because it's happened to me a few times too, and I always say, are you, if somebody says, are you Greg Stocker from 1210? And my retort is always, that depends. Do you like Greg Stocker from 1210? And, it's always usually, yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not no.
No, exactly right. All right. So a couple of things in COVID that I want to get to here, which I think is very interesting. And we're going to hear from some of the experts. I've got some stats as well. But we've been saying, look, you're going to start to see these schools with mask mandates popping back. Well, we had another one yesterday in Potomac, Maryland. Potomac Elementary School is sending their kids back to school on a short-term basis, and they will be issuing mask mandates for first graders at their elementary school, Potomac Elementary School. I'm going to read you the release from the school. This was dated yesterday, the 13th of September. This letter is to inform you that here we go again, that 3 or more individuals have tested for positive for COVID-19 in the last 10 days. Shocking. 3 kids test positive for COVID in a 10-day stretch. Everybody's got to wear a mask. We are taking the following steps to keep our school environment as safe as possible for in-person teaching and learning, and to further prevent transmission of COVID-19 in this group, which apparently Potomac Elementary School did not listen to the clip that we played yesterday around 7:20 of Tony Fauci from 2021 on 60 Minutes saying that masks basically make no difference. And now we have first graders. So you're in first grade? 6 years old, I believe. And we're going to go back to this charade and this nonsense of a few cases popping up and then resorting to a practice and a policy that made zero difference for almost everybody. And in large part because you heard Fauci say it yesterday when we played it for you, that, most people don't even wear the mask properly, and then they're touching their face and pulling it down and the whole bit. So you could imagine that 6-year-olds are going to wear the mask properly and adhere to all the perfection of how you're supposed to properly wear the mask. And then there'll be kids there wearing like a Nike mask or an Under Armour mask made out of fabric.
I told my wife yesterday that the school we're sending our son to, the minute they require him to wear a mask, I'm pulling him out of the school.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you one bit.
The minute.
And it's one thing if you want to make them optional. That's cool. If somebody else's parent wants to send their kid into school in a mask under the recommendation or the option, fine. Mandate, absolutely not. And then you've got some stats coming out. And this is also a very interesting thing because many people are saying that this latest vaccine booster should be avoided, other than, the FDA and the CDC passing it. And now, of course, corporate America running with it in mainstream media, so forth and so on. These are some statistics from the CDC's own website. There will be 1 million mRNA COVID shots for teens, and it will prevent 0 to 1 COVID deaths. So at most one, and look, one death's too many. I get that for all those people. Yeah. So one death from COVID for every million COVID shots distributed to teens, and it will prevent one death. However, it will cause between 100 and 200,000 severe side effects. I want you to just process those numbers for a moment. So 1 million mRNA COVID shots for teens will prevent 0 or 1 death from COVID for a teenager. But at the same point, it will cause 100,000 to 200,000 severe side effects. When you look at those numbers, and if you have a shred of common sense, logic, and the ability to compute and process numbers, why? And again, I'm consistent with this. I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to put your kid in or what to, put in your kid's body. But I'm looking at those numbers and I'd be like, you know what? My daughters are only 9, but let's say they were 13 and they were teenagers. I would just look at their mom and be like, they're not getting a booster. Yeah. For what?
Yeah.
I mean, are my kids going to be one of or two of those 100 to 200,000 to end up with severe side effects? I think I'll roll the dice and have the possibility of one person dying over a sample size of 1 million people.
Now, remember, this is not a booster; it's a vaccine.
It's a vaccine
because it's something completely different now,
yes,
right?
Yes,
that's what we're being told, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I just the sound, and you played it on one of the cut sheets, and maybe Nick did a big take on it, I think. But that sound bite, that audio with Senator Rand Paul, I mean, I got chills when I heard that. When Senator Rand Paul said that even the CDC, if you read all of their information down in all the details, even the CDC acknowledges the fact of kids, when children especially have had COVID within the past 90 days, and then they get a vaccine and or a booster, that significantly raises their odds of that myocarditis, which is the deadly heart situation with inflammation of the heart. And I mean, when you aired that, and I forget, it was within the past maybe 7 to 10 days,
yep.
Wow. As a parent, that to not be told that, and all Rand Paul was saying is that this should be mandatory, that anybody giving out that vaccine, like a Walgreens or your pediatrician, just ask the question, hey, do you think your kid has had COVID within the last 90 days? He wasn't even saying don't get something. He was just saying make it transparent and give out the information.
That's correct.
So the fact, I mean, this is all just scary stuff.
It is. I totally agree.
Just follow the advice of your doctor or
your pediatrician.
Whatever they say, as long as you trust them.
Yeah.
What my pediatrician tells me about my son is what I do.
There you go. Dr. Joseph Ladapo, who's the Surgeon General in Florida under Governor Ron DeSantis, posted this yesterday. He says, the CDC and the FDA continue to push COVID vaccines that are not backed by clinical evidence, but by blind faith alone, with zero regard for widespread immunity. The American people deserve the truth, but the Biden administration only wants to control your behavior. They put out, if you live in the state of Florida, like some of our listeners do, Susie Cool and others that listen on the Odyssey app or watch on YouTube, they put out a Florida health advisory guidance to COVID-19 boosters, and this was dated yesterday as well, September 13th. And they said, as the federal government makes new boosters for COVID-19 available, the Florida Department of Health reminds healthcare providers of their obligation to remain up to date with the current literature regarding the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. And they go on. I retweeted this if you want to read it. But they are essentially of the belief that obviously in Florida, no vaccine mandates. And I actually saw a city in Texas yesterday that has now put forth legislation and some rules, so to speak, and I say rules for lack of a better word, that there will be no vaccine mandates, there will be no mask mandates, and I think you're going to start to see pretty much the same divide that we saw during the pandemic. You're going to see schools and you're going to see blue areas that are going to go back to some of these measures. It'll start out as recommended or optional, and then, we'll see. And as Fauci said, at the federal level, you can't force these things. There will not be a federal mandate, but again, it's not that. They put out these recommendations, and then that trickles down to the local level, and then that's when you start to see these mandates pop up again. Courthouses, doctors' offices, possibly workplaces, so forth and so on. But of course, like in red areas, like Florida, you're not going to see this stuff. Certainly in many spots in Texas, outside of, maybe Dallas or Houston or Austin, where it's mostly red, you will not see that type of stuff. To my knowledge, so far in our listening area here in the Delaware Valley, I don't believe we have had a single school mandate return to mask. But I'm on record as saying I think between Halloween and Thanksgiving that will certainly resurface, which is going to be the thing that bothers me the most, because they're going to phrase it well, we were out of school for 7 days for the Thanksgiving break.
Yes.
And you were gathering around and you were with 35 friends and family members at Thanksgiving dinner.
If we don't see it in the fall, which I think we will, if we don't see it in the fall, we're definitely going to see it in January after all the kids come back from Christmas. Yeah.
Yep. 855-839-1210. Tom's in Percy. And actually, I do know who you are, Tom, because it's on my call screener. But you give me a don't you know who I am story.
Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, so I'm a retired police officer, and it was funny. When one night I was working, and I pulled over a car. It was speeding or ran a light or whatever it was. But, police have great discretion. Anyway, I get this guy stopped. I walk up to the car, see these big hands on the steering wheel, and the guy hands me his driver's license and says to me, hey, any chance you can give a beat-up old hockey player a break?
Oh.
And I'm like thinking, I have no idea who this guy is. So I grab his license, I go back to run his information, and I start getting guys calling me on our township radio, busting my stones. And the guy was a Broad Street bully who is still involved in Philadelphia hockey.
Bernie Perrott?
No. I can't say that it was Bill Clement, but anyway. Anyway, I walk back up to the car.
Yep.
I hand him his license and registration, and I said, yeah, just slow down a little bit. Well, fast forward, February 2003, I'm working armed security at the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics, and I'm walking around the bottom of the E Center, which was where all the ice hockey was being played, and I'm walking with another law enforcement officer, and all of a sudden, I see this guy yells over to me, hey, Tom! Well, here, it's Bill Clement.
Wow.
And he goes, hey, Bill, I want you to meet Vi Sikahema. He says to me. So this guy with me, he goes, who are you? Just said that to me, but I just thought that was funny.
Oh, Tom, that's a great story.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
Have a great day.
No doubt about it. You got it, Tom. We had a story a couple of months ago on here, wasn't it? There was something, it was a district attorney got pulled over and tried to flash the badge to the cop, and then the cop wasn't having it, and the DA had to resign.
Yep.
I think that might have been a cut sheet clip that we played.
I don't remember, but I do remember the story. I don't remember the details, but it was a do you know who I am type situation.
Exile in Jersey says, if I were a cop and I pulled Stalker over, I'd make sure it was posted on YouTube.
By the way,
tweet of the day.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, we're 29 likes away from 200. So please hit the like button so we can get to 200 likes. 29 likes away from 200 likes. So please hit the like button if you're watching.
We actually have audio of the last time Stalker was pulled over for speeding as the lights lit up in his rearview mirror.
Holy crap!
And then he pulled over and the officer said, where are you going and why are you going so fast? His response was,
we start at 6 a.m.
He had a show to do. So,
that's true.
There you go. All right, 9:21 as we get to our morning mystery movie clip.
Oh, that's me, isn't it?
no, it's Dawn.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey! Whoa, hey! What the hell?
What happened to your face?
Weightlifting accident?
That sounds like Why'd you run by my house? Our little conversation get you upset last night?
Hey, this is my route, okay? Just back off.
This is my neighborhood. You just ran by my house.
I like to run by myself, okay?
Me too.
Hey, I like to run alone. Will you stop, okay?
What?
I'm running here.
Me too.
Well, then why don't you run somewhere else? There's tons of roads to run in. What are you trying to do?
I like this road. This is my neighborhood.
Oh, come on, please.
Calm down, crazy.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
The great prize today, another $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. If you can identify that movie clip, which has a certain meaning to today, Thursday, and Thursday Night Football. 855-839-1210, caller 12, 855-839-1210. If you can identify that movie clip, we will come back, get our winner, and it looks like more people want to drop some Do You Know Who I Am stories. See what Lauren Boebert started?
I know.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
She's a trendsetter.
She is.
On Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. Go win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, you and your family take control of the Millennium Falcon or launch into the exhilarating world of the Grid on the all-new Tron Light Cycle Run, presented by Enterprise. It's one of the fastest coasters in Disney Park history. Just listen to Kayal and Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword and enter it at 1210WPHT.com/contests for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Get your thrill on. Limit 1 entry per day per person. This is a national contest.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refund's network of independent tax attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to Step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L-Certified Fall Collection Sales Event. It's much nicer than pumpkin spice. They have over 300 new and L-Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. Shop great deals and save with special finance rates on L-Certified Lexus vehicles now through October 31st. Stop in and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, family-owned and operated.
Life can get hectic. It's easy to lose focus and balance. Wouldn't you love to retreat from the noise? Take a breath. Regain your inner peace. Visit Malvern Retreat House, the nation's largest Catholic retreat house. Our stunning campus is the perfect place to step back, reflect, and recharge. Malvern Retreat House hosts men's and women's retreats, helping individuals live life centered on Christ. Go to malvernretreat.com to discover your journey. Retreat from the noise. Hear God's voice.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
For you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Going back to school means getting back to busy schedules, from the science fair to the ball field to that after-school snack. We're always on the go. So add a little tasty to your kids' day and pack some delicious Tasty Cake mini muffins, seasonal favorites like pumpkin baked pies or the classic crimpet. There's only one way to make your kids' day tasty. Anything else is a miscake. So grab your kids a Tasty Cake treat today. Tasty Cake, accept no substitutes.
Exergen thermometers are the #1 choice of medical professionals at top-ranked hospitals. Accuracy matters. Available at Walmart and Walgreens. Learn more at Exergen.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
So, you know, today I've been saying is my baby David. It's his birthday with a hungry teenager. It's a game night. He has a football game. And then we're going to, of course, watch our home opener this evening. I said, okay, your birthday dinner, what do you want, kiddo? And he said, okay, I want burgers and I want that bean chili that you make. That is awesome. I love that bean chili. What's he talking about? He's talking about actually whatacrockmeals.com. So I thank God, because I'm busy from here. I've got 2 other places that I've got to go after work for appearances, and then make his game, and then the game. How am I going to do this and make his favorite meals? Whatacrockmeals.com makes me look so good. They're going to make you look good. So here's the deal. These ready-made meals are delivered to your doorstep, okay? It's already in my slow cooker, and no prep, no mess. So when our family comes home after the long day, you're going to just walk in the door and smell that delicious, it's a vegan 3-bean chili. It's so good. It's just going to be simmering and filling the entire house. Smells so good. And guess what? We get to enjoy more time together at the dinner table. It erases all that stress for me, for sure. Whatacrockmeals.com. I'm so grateful I discovered them. They're local, okay? Just use promo code WPHT for $10 off your first order. Ready-to-eat meals. You don't have to do anything. Just stick it right there in the slow cooker. Whatacrockmeals.com. Homemade, just, not by me. Delicious. Order now. Whatacrockmeals.com. Happy birthday, David.
Tom Giordano at noon. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
All right, so it looks like dinner at Dawn's tonight. Chili in the Stenzlin household.
You should
in.
come over for the game.
I might have to, Dawn. My God.
It sounds delicious.
Chili,
oh
burgers.
So good.
Oh, my God. Dinner at Dawn's tonight. What? No. Like, in all seriousness, bring some in tomorrow.
All right.
For your other boys.
We should do a chili taste test on the air.
Oh, no.
But would you rather have, the chili, and see, that's, the great part of it is, like Greg, you don't eat meat. So it comes, you just put it in there, but it's vegan.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm eating meat again.
Oh, you are?
Whoa. How are we burying the lead here?
Nah, it's because
totally buried the lead.
Yeah.
You're back to meat.
Just occasionally.
You miss it?
No, it's just too much.
It's difficult.
There's too much crap in this in the processed food.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's the tough part.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this, and that's seriously, it's all vegetables, delicious, all different kinds of beans, white beans. You know what I mean?
We'll bring some in tomorrow.
A little spicy,
All
a
right,
little heat. Got a little heat to it, or
It's
not?
got a little bit, but not too much.
All right.
Because you can always add.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I actually, I do a little ground beef like on the side.
Yeah.
And then if everybody wants to add it, you put your little, but it's like no work. It's so good. I'm gonna bring some in for you guys just to taste it, so you believe me that it's like, you'll say it's homemade. It's like, it's healthy too.
I like to put a good habanero pepper in my chili. Ooh, start sweating.
What's the website again, Dawn?
What's that?
What's the website again?
It's whatacrockmeals.com. And by the way, so they are a sponsor now, but Greg, you know this. I discovered them in the Little Farmers Market years ago.
Yeah.
So they're a great local company, and they've gone big time, but it's good stuff.
There you go. All right. Dinner@dawns.com. 855-839-1210. I think Gina's got our movie clip this morning, and she's in Ambler. Gina, good morning. How are you?
What line is that?
I'll be line 5.
Thank you. There we go.
Oh, am I on?
Hold on. Let me. Joe Biden wants to know.
It's on. Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, Gina. What was the movie we played for you?
The movie was Silver Linings Playbook.
That is correct. Bradley Cooper.
It's one of
nice
our
work
favorite
out of you.
locals,
There
Bradley
you
Cooper.
go. Yep. All right. $50 gift card, Metro Diner. You got it, Gina.
I'll have to use that tomorrow because I'm going to Dawn's tonight.
Yes, that's right. The whole Kayal and Company audience is going to be at the Stensland Menti household. Thank you very much, Gina. We appreciate you listening and playing. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's grab a call before we get to Dawn's Big Three. Keith is in Westville, New Jersey, and he has a Do You Know Who I Am story. Keith, good morning. How are you?
How you doing, guys?
We're doing well, Keith.
Last year I was working up in Newark, and I live in Westville, New Jersey. Well, I drove almost an hour around the town of Newark. I could not find a parking spot. So I seen an underground parking spot with two big attendants out front with the entrance blocked off. So I went up there. I said, is there any parking? And the guy said, no, there isn't. And I said, hey, pal, do you know who I am?
Hey, pal.
And he walked towards me, and he goes, who are you? And I went, nobody. I just figured I'd try it.
Yeah.
So they both start laughing. They moved the cone. They said, yeah, there's a few spots in there. Go ahead.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. That's awesome.
So sometimes it does work, and I didn't get beat up.
Oh, well, there you go. That's 2 for 2. You got to play the card, and you got out of there safely.
Yeah.
That's nice work out of Keith. All right.
I love that.
Here we go. See what Lauren Boebert started?
Yeah, the Do You Know Who I Am took on a life of its own.
Yeah, sometimes it does. It's usually the way it works with radio shows. The random stuff just hits for some reason. All right, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big Three at 9:34.
It's the Big 3 and 9 on Kayal and Company.
Number 1, Biden goes on the offensive. Hunter Biden's legal team filing a federal lawsuit against former Trump White House aide Garrett Ziegler, accusing him of hacking his data over the public. This is technically a local story, right? Because we know it all began in that little Wilmington, Delaware computer repair shop.
Was that
But
Mark Paul Isaac or whatever his name
yes,
is?
John Paul. So it's over the publication of those. What he says, he's violated because he's so embarrassed about, his private photos of him naked with crack individuals, and I can't say the word, but emails, other materials that came from that hard drive. And Ziegler says he did nothing wrong. This was all information given to him legally. The laptop material, it was a laptop left at that Wilmington, Delaware repair shop. But this is the newest lawsuit in the battle going back and forth.
And we're talking about, as Trump would say, the laptop from hell.
Well, number 2, Chatterbait Gates. A woman running for a Virginia House seat has a side gig for bucks and tips.
Yeah.
This is my favorite story of the year.
This is remarkable.
Oh, my goodness. And I have to word things carefully. She posted some spicy clips online.
Yep.
Along with the help of her husband.
Right.
She's 40-year-old Susanna Gibson, a Democrat running for office in Richmond.
Oh, it's a Democrat. Shocking.
She posted several videos on this porn platform known as Chatterbait. It hosts users who get pleasure while chatting with others online, thus the word Chatterbait. She says, this won't intimidate me and it won't silence me because she says that her political opponents are willing to commit a sex crime and to silence women.
A Democrat arguing about being silenced is really remarkable, by the way.
She posted it on a porn site.
Yes.
It's a public site.
Yeah.
She's calling it.
Got to pay the bills, right?
She's claiming it was like this op research. Like you're on a porn site that I hate to break the news to you, Dawn, but every male is on. So like,
yep. Some ladies are making chili at home. Others are making videos and posting them on sites.
And I guess her attorney now says that the Republicans have been they're in violation of state revenge. They're calling it revenge porn.
Revenge porn, yes.
So they're
my favorite kind.
So her and her husband, if I can get this story correct, her and her husband would do sex acts, and then people would chat along and say, "Hey, try this."
It's like the Kayal and Company chat community. You're just live stream.
So try this, and then they would do it, and you would pay some money to watch them do it. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and the other piece of this is even on their own site, people have pointed out you're not supposed to ask for tips or money.
Oh.
And so she was even, and I've not been on this site,
Right.
but she was apparently asking, you can see her asking for tips and getting money. So people saying, hey, did she claim that, on her taxes?
Yeah.
Did she pay the taxes? But she's performing,
and my rule, don't ask for tips. You just earn them. You don't ask for them. Whether it's in porn or at Starbucks.
Look, this is neither of you guys are watching the new season of Billions, are you?
No.
No.
It is tremendous. But not to break any news here, but the main guy in there is running for president. And his advisor is like, "Do you have any skeletons in your closet that you wanna let us know?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Because I will find out." So she's running for office? Where were these political consultants that vetted her and her husband, been like, "Hey, have you guys ever been on porn websites asking for money for sex acts?"
Is this at
and this isn't old, Nick. This is like within the past. At some point when she announced, but it was within the past year, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Is this a local office she's running for? A statewide office?
No, it's a statewide office.
Statewide, okay.
And she is a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
She's a married mother of 2 young children. Yeah. She won the primary back in June. She's running against a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very competitive district.
Okay. So we got the nurse against the businessman.
And I wonder, does this help or hurt? This was live streamed, and so they were taking requests.
Yeah, I think there's going to be people showing up outside the ballot office saying, "Release the tapes! Release the tapes!"
But I guess she tried to remove some stuff to clean it up, or somebody did.
Okay.
But I guess you can find it. You can still find it somewhere online.
The internet's forever.
Thank you. By the way, JJ writes, it was the Washington Post that ran the story, not the Republican candidate.
Well put. Yeah, that's true. It's WAPO. That is very true.
Okay.
Because even the Washington Post knows it's going to get.
Boy, so we've got the Washington Post today squashing a Dem over porn and having a columnist say that Joe Biden shouldn't run.
Yeah.
I think the Washington Post might be flipping sides here a little bit. Conservative paper all of a sudden.
By the way, at least it was with her husband, right?
Well, yeah.
Well,
it wasn't like she was
with Bobby the pool boy.
But
exactly.
Or Greg's pool boy.
She's doing things,
What?
She's doing kind of lewd things.
She's doing everything that everybody else is doing in their bedroom. She's just putting it on video.
But
right?
Who sang that song, Girls on Film? We might need to play that coming back.
But she's like, they're saying, hey, will you do this or will you do that? So think of.
Yeah, no, I
you know what I mean?
I understand. It's I've been married I've been with the same woman for 20 years. Like I understand. Trust me. It's like, hey, let's try this. Let's try that. I mean,
well, because as we know,
but we don't
bring
it. We don't put it on video. That's the only thing. Yeah,
it's not even. So she streamed it live. It was live too.
Yeah.
Greg wouldn't be taking suggestions in mid-act. He would start shouting out at people that offered the suggestions, and he would be saying something to the effect of,
"We're in the middle of a segment."
What did Susanna do? I just wonder what were the But this is the problem. Does it hurt her or does it help her?
In this day and age, it probably helps.
Do you know
her.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are some people like, what a good wife.
I mean, she's very attractive.
She is.
Oh, we have. I haven't seen her.
She's blonde.
on the YouTube?
She's very fit, very attractive.
We don't want to ask
Gibson.
the YouTube to do too much.
Better than Bobert? Yeah. We don't want to overwork our staff. We'll be like Bill Maher. We'll have no writers.
Susanna Gibson.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look it up.
Susanna Gibson.
I'm just trying to see, like, what did she do? See, now I can't help myself because now I, like, want to know. And all these women's
Inquiring
groups.
minds want to know.
Women's groups are coming to her defense, saying you will not silence women. See, this is where conservative women are not as good at, like, supporting, like, coming forward. You know what I mean? Like, liberal women's groups coming forward and saying Republicans are trying to silence women. This is a woman who went live doing, sexual things for giving her husband gratification.
Well, it's pretty stupid. If you're running for office, this is probably what you don't want, in all honesty.
Well, but I don't know. Is she gonna? It's apparently a tight race.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
How many kids does she have?
2 young kids.
Not that tight of a race. Ken John wins YouTube, the YouTube chat. He says it hurt her, but she liked it.
That's a sin.
That's a sin. All right, I have to do number 3 really quick.
Yeah, hurry up because I got to do number 2.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Because he ate too many Skittles.
Oh, my God.
Number 3, saving Skittles, chemicals in food. We often say what happens in California, it always comes here to Philadelphia. So California lawmakers, they're working through all these different bills. So they have actually voted to become the first state in the nation to ban 4 chemicals from processed foods and drinks sold in California. Red dye number 3, potassium bromate, brominated vegetable oils, and propylparabens. So this will, for example, Peeps. We're famous for the Easter food, the Peeps.
Yep.
Some of those chemicals are in Peeps.
Peeps are created up in Bethlehem, PA, at the Just Born Candy Factory.
So if this came to Pennsylvania, the popular marshmallow chicks would be banned, or they'd have to change their formula.
Okay.
So, but Skittles has been spared, and because they have another chemical, titanium dioxide, in them.
Yeah.
Originally, California wanted to ban that, but they've saved the Skittles.
Beautiful.
So that's number 3.
All right, that'll do it. Dawn's big 3. 9:44. Let's get to a break. We're going to get to a BREAK. But we will come back. We have our Disney keyword at 9:50. We'll see who won Twitter today, and of course, find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show. Stay tuned. Your keyword is coming up next here on Kayal and Company.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
Your busy life is about to collide with your love of Eagles football. With the free Odyssey app, you can jump back and listen to the moments that matter, even if you missed it live. Hear Marks and Reese break down the offense, or listen to Nick Sirianni's interview with the 94 WIP Morning Show.
Yeah, I've been in a game where we scored a touchdown, and I'm fist pumping with the fans. I don't think I've done that since I played college football.
Stay close to the Eagles wherever you are this season. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY. Hey,
it's Rich Zioli. Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control. You develop healthy eating habits that last you the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight. You will keep off the weight the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements. That's going to get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help keep the weight off. Locations throughout the East Coast are available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. njdiet.com, lose the weight for good.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to call to Kathy Gannon, METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance. For your child to help them succeed, all you have to do is visit online at METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
I've talked a lot about the big game, all the great odds. You got to check it out at Parks Casino and Sportsbook. The only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend is the coolest nightlife to go in person. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games, the best sportsbook on the entire East Coast. And you know we love Parks here. Joe Conklin's Comedy Night. Zioli was recently there. Nick was recently there. Best local bands only at the 360 Lounge. Award-winning dining. At special discount, by the way, for military, first responders, and medical professionals. You got to check out the top headliners coming soon to the Excite Center. Pointer Sisters, Saturday, September 23rd. Buddy Guy, Friday, October 6th. Spinners, Friday, October 13th. Parks, the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment, plus free parking, valet parking, and electric vehicle charging stations, by the way, for all things Parks Casino. And I hope by now you've joined me and downloaded the Parks app, especially before tonight's big game, and look at all the odds and the deals and offers. But visit parkscasino.com, PARX Casino and Sportsbook. This is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, 950. Thursday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Time for the keyword each and every day here on Kayal Company at 950. Every morning in September, we give you a keyword. You take that keyword and you go to 1210WPHT.com, enter it for your chance to win a free vacation to Walt Disney World. Today's keyword is fly. F-L-Y. Keyword fly. Take that to 1210WPHT.com and enter that for your chance to win a free vacation to Walt Disney World. So there you go. Best of luck. And if you don't want to go to Disney World, then that's your problem. And we don't need to hear about it. We're giving stuff away for free. Be happy, people.
Free, buddy, free.
It's probably like a $5,000-$10,000 trip. Come on. Yeah. All right.
Easy.
Wait.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, you're my witness, like Greg. You have to, because I was trying to look up this legit story, but then it takes you to, if you want to see the raunchy website.
Yeah. And it got blocked.
All of a sudden, something came up on my computer. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Of this.
It's okay.
She's a candidate.
We do. We have the. We always play the card instead of the "Do you know who I am?" It's like, oh, it's show prep.
Yeah, it's show prep.
Show prep.
Yeah,
So,
it was a porn site. It was just show prep.
So later on tonight, you know, when I'm watching her porn site, I can just say to my wife,
Right.
nah, show prep, I'm not enjoying
Or
this.
later on tonight when Greg gets an email from HR as to why Dawn's laptop was logged into a porn site at work, Greg can say it was show prep.
Show prep.
Yeah, show prep.
Exactly.
So you can I just wanted to verify for myself that she's an aspiring politician, Democrat.
Yeah.
One of the headlines says she may have blown her chances
Oh, my God.
at
The
electoral
jokes- the
victory.
jokes are
And,
everywhere.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
But when you see her, like she's nude.
Okay.
Like she's like she makes Hunter Biden in his videos look like a choir boy.
I'll try to. I'll corroborate your story about 7:30.
Wow.
But again, family values people. She's doing it with her husband. It's not like
Right,
she's
right.
doing it with, multiple guys.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a sin. It's all a
Yeah,
sin.
I think it's a sin.
It's with her husband.
It's with her husband in the privacy of her home.
Thank you.
But on the public.
Wow, that.
And plus, it's
When this
nasty.
room's a rocking, don't come a knocking.
But it's nasty because it's on. Like they have little kids, and they put it on a public streaming service, and then you see her asking, "Hey, if you want to put in a request for me to do."
Yeah, it's bad judgment.
Then get a tip. Ew. And she's.
I'm going to save you here, Dawn. What's coming up at the
All
Dawn
right,
Show?
thank
at
you.
10 o'clock
I'm
this
just
morning? I am encouraging a transition here.
Uh-oh.
Not that I do that too often, but
So we had touched on this briefly yesterday, just talking about we always highlight and cover for you local school board meetings. So what's going on in Central Bucks and this latest school board meeting? I know we touched upon it this week, but what really happened, the inside story as far as that meeting, how it's being portrayed, and this was when ultimately an activist who's a Democrat is being accused of picking up a folding chair and threatening to throw it at somebody. I mean, just a really passionate meeting where police were called in. What's going on at Central Bucks? So we're going to have a local mom tell us the inside story. So she's going to be, Marion's going to be calling in at 10:05. And then so much more lined up. Guy Shiraki with the latest, the inside story, more on Cavalcante and Yoda the K9. So we've got, and really to advance the story because it's not over, to talk about what's going on in Chester County. And then our friend Betsy Brantner Smith, law enforcement, and also talking about Chester County and policing in America and her take. Wow, it's just a jam-packed show and so much developing still.
all right. Dawn Show coming up at 10 o'clock this morning as we find out who won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Our buddy Irk wins Twitter. He says, imagine if Nick Sirianni said, you read this earlier, but nobody's beat it. Irk says, imagine if Nick Sirianni said to the Eagles, listen up, I've got some feed forward that would look at him. They would look at him like he had two heads.
Yes, no
Irk
feedback.
wins. No
feedback can be too harsh.
Feed forward.
Jalen, here's your feedback. Actually, Jalen, you're offended. Okay, we'll go feed forward. Here's what you need to do against Minnesota to get a win tonight, which, by the way, Eagles and Vikings tonight. Stalker and I have a bet. I'm going under 48.5 points.
I'm going over.
And my prediction will be Eagles 26, Vikings 19.
Wow.
26-19 Philadelphia.
Great.
You got a prediction on the game?
I'm just going to go with the spread. I'm going to go with the Eagles -6.5, and I have the bet with you on the over for 48.5.
Okay. Dawn, are you going to watch the game tonight, or are you going to check out that website a little bit more?
No. I'm done.
Okay,
I
just
was
checking.
like, no, I'm
All
done.
right.
I do the individual player performances, so I have to on the Parks app. I'm saying when I better be careful when I say individual player performances after that other story.
That's correct. All right, Senator Fetterman, who do you have tonight?
The Eagles!
So John Fetterman's on the Eagles as well. There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the game tonight. The Dawn Show is next. We're back tomorrow morning at 6, and as Mr. Fetterman would say...
Good night, everybody.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venera.